Starting as the Senju Hashirama system, this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26. Uchiha. Madara. Senju Hashirama sighed, but he was not too surprised. He was too familiar with the Uchiha clan. From the previous battles to the present, he already knew the various movements of Uchiha ninjas clearly. Therefore, he had already from the beginning, he saw through Uchiha Madara's reality. But he still held on to the last trace of illusion. Maybe the other party wasn't him. The other party must have guessed that I'm a member of the Thousand Hands clan, so let's leave it at that. Senju Hashirama shook his head and decided to ignore it. He still has a good impression of this friend he just met. There is no need to deliberately reveal his identity and put the two people in a hostile state. Maybe wait until the relationship becomes deeper. The two of them can disclose their identities to each other and work hard for a common peace. Blah 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 blah. The rapid river flows forward. Everything around is so quiet that only the sound of flowing water is left. Unknowingly, Senju Hashirama, the inner irritability has completely disappeared. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the mission and obtaining the body skill. Shunpo, the skill of moving the body quickly and instantaneously. It can move to the side of the opponent or further away at a speed invisible to the naked eye. It requires extremely high physical fitness. Li Jing put the reward he had prepared long ago into Dazu's mind. All the skills of Shunpo were mastered by the boy in an instant. What a magical body technique. Senju Hashirama opened his eyes full of surprise. Compared with physical skills such as palm techniques, boxing techniques, and body techniques, the ninja world pays more attention to the development of ninjutsu and blood succession limits. What? Strength and speed are of no use. Point. As long as my ninjutsu area is large enough, where can you run? No matter how fast you are. Almost all ninjas, including the former Senju Hashirama, think so. So I never thought about redeeming my skills at all. I didn't get a Shunpo until I completed the mission today. Bang. There was a sound of breaking through the air, and white airwaves surged to both sides, causing ripples on the surface of the river. The next moment, Senju Hashirama's figure had disappeared from the place and appeared dozens of meters away. This level of speed and distance far exceeds ordinary teleportation ninjutsu. Only time and space ninjutsu such as Kamu and Flying Thunder God can be compared with it. Chakra consumption is extremely low and can be used many times in battle. Senju Hashirama silently felt the amount of chakra consumed just now and showed a satisfied look. After practicing the Great Wilderness Exercise technique for many days, his physical fitness has improved significantly. It has been strengthened to an extremely high level. It is not weaker than any adult ninja. There is no pressure at all to use this Shunpo. Although it requires a little more chakra, it is not a problem for him. He tried several more times. After doing the Shunpo, Senju Hashirama looked up at the sky and walked back in the direction of the Senju clan. Uchiha Madara was right. It was indeed getting late now. It was time to go back early. The night was getting dark. Up, the curtain was about to fall. Senju Hashirama ran quickly towards the direction of the clan, but the sun set a little faster, and the sky and earth became dim. At this time, a dark figure shrouded in the night came from Senju Hashirama was walking slowly from the opposite side. Senju Hashirama tried to adjust his direction to avoid it, but found that the dark figure also adjusted his direction. It was obvious that this person's target was him. Who are you, and why do you want to stop me? Senju Hashirama was on guard. Chakra surged throughout his body, and the thick and surging breath of life made the surrounding forest sway in response. Oh, what a familiar feeling. Mudunai are indeed the reincarnation of Ajura. The dark figure was not afraid and said with a smile in a weird tone. Cold, weird and weird. He was really happy. I didn't expect that the reincarnation of Ashura would grow up so fast in this life. Although he is a little young, that's just right. It's easy to fool him at a young age. As long as you make up a suitable identity, you can fool this little kid into forgetfulness. Black Zetsu grinned, not noticing Li Jing attached to Senju Hashirama's body at all. Black people. Black Zetsu? Almost the first time he saw Black Zetsu, Li Jing felt an extremely strong sense of familiarity. There is only one person in the entire Naruto series who has such characteristics, and that is Black Zetsu, the mastermind behind the entire Naruto timeline. A man who is trying to deceive all ninjas, untie Otsutsuki Kaguya's cunt. Aijiro, why did this guy appear so quickly? Is he targeting the big pillar? Li Jing thought quickly, and decided to remind Dazu pointing. Special situations are detected, and urgent special tasks are issued. Mission name, defeat Black Zetsu. Mission introduction, defeat the mysterious black man who has ill intentions towards the host. Mission reward, special book The Parting of the Founders of Konoha, the resurrection of Kaguya Otsutsuki. Due to the special nature of this task, the task rewards have been distributed in advance. Senju Hashirama, who was about to ask Black Zetsu's purpose, and who Ashura was stunned. Distribute rewards in advance. This mysterious person is actually valued so much by the system. Dazu felt that something was not right. While he was wary of Heliju's approach, he received the information from the two books sent to him by Li Jing. He saw it, but in the other one he did not get the system in the time and space. He and Uchiha Madara jointly created a peaceful village. They protected countless ninja clans in the Land of Fire, large and small, and created the peace of their dreams. However, it did not last long. Uchiha Madara was killed by the man named Black Zetsu in front of him. Misled by the mysterious man, he decided to leave the village and turn against himself. In the end, this friend with a bumpy fate was directly swallowed up and assimilated by Heliju, and not even a scum was left. Things at TX have been quite serious recently. I used to have the idea of going there to write a book, but it seems I don't have to think about it anymore. It's too overbearing. King Ming Reading gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to 5th month. Chapter 27. Anger. When Senju Hashirama saw Uchiha Madara being swallowed and assimilated by Black Zetsu, his inner anger climbed to an absolute high point. The eyes of his eyes suddenly became sharp, losing their previous gentleness and simplicity, and instead were filled with indifference and anger. Heiju stopped walking in an instant, and a strong sense of crisis enveloped his heart. He was all too familiar with this look. Its murderous intent. Senju Hashirama actually wanted to kill him. Heiju's pupils shrank, and he subconsciously stepped back a little, while countless thoughts flashed through his heart. It shouldn't be. Senju Hashirama just saw him for the first time today. How could he have such strong murderous intention and hatred? Could it be Ashura's chakra affecting it? That's not right. Let alone Ashura. Even the immortal of six paths doesn't know of his existence. Black Zetsu could never have imagined that there was a system bound to Senju Hashirama's body. The existence of this system is completely beyond Heiju's imagination. He showed Dazu what will happen in the future of the original work. Would escape the tree realm is born. Seeing that Black Zetsu was trying to escape, Senju Hashirama roared angrily, and all the wood-release chakra in his body began to surge in an instant. The earth collapsed, and the earth dragon turned over. Countless big trees grew rapidly from the ground, and the trees it was like being uprooted, like a swarm of dragons surging, stirring up the 100 miles in 4 directions. The range of this wooden escape was too wide, and all the escape routes of Heliju were blocked at once. The sky is like a towering tree crown, and the ground is a complicated tree. Roots. There is even the caster Senju Hashirama personally sitting on the surface of the earth. Gee, you actually dare to kill Dazu's second wife? Even if your mother jumped out of the moon, she still can't quell Dazu's anger. Li Jing looked at this good show with a smile. It's just a pity that Senju Hashirama hasn't learned any sealing techniques yet, so it's absolutely impossible to seal Hei. As for getting it from the system, mall exchange sealing props. Judging from the items currently sold in the secondary mall, it is hard to say whether the undead creature Black Zetsu can be sealed. Don't look at the fact that Black Zetsu is being chased by Senju Hashirama in a panic. But Li Jing can see it. It's quite real. This guy's escaping from the tree realms art at an extremely fast speed. For it to have the ability to absorb chakra, escaping from the current Hashirama's hands is not too difficult. Where to run? Senju Hashirama's angry shouts spread throughout the world. You inhuman monster. If I don't kill you today, you may cause what kind of trouble? Senju Hashirama made a seal with both hands, and the chakra in his body was squandered as if it was free of money. The wooden dragon rose up from the ground and roared towards the sky, taking root in the forests and hovering on the top of the sky point with unstoppable strength posture, rushing towards Heiju's direction. Damn, he's obviously just an 11-year-old kid, but he's so difficult to deal with. Heiju's intention to retreat became stronger and stronger, and he completely gave up his inner plan to seduce him. Although he didn't know what happened, it was obvious that Senju Hashirama had become incompatible with him, and it was useless to say too many words to seduce him. Where exactly is it? Something went wrong. Has Six Paths discovered his plan and informed the reincarnation of Ashura in this life in advance, or is there something happening that he doesn't know about? It's strange. A haze swirled in Heiju's heart. He has always felt that he has control over the situation and the entire ninja world, but this sudden change made him feel that this familiar world suddenly became strange again. We can only leave first and explore slowly later. Damn it. Heiju had made up its mind to retreat. It fled a few minutes faster and merged directly into the ground. Before leaving, it took a deep look at Senju Hashirama, who was chasing after him. Leave it to me. Senju Hashirama controlled the wooden dragon to crash down, blasting a deep pit on the ground, but Heizetsu's figure had long since disappeared. It made him feel lonely. Ding. The system prompts that a mysterious creature named Heiju has the ability to escape from the ground. It has escaped, and the nature of this creature is difficult to die. Only powerful sealing techniques can solve it. Li Jing briefly glanced at the pit and spoke out a reminder. Check the Senju pillars to avoid wasting your efforts. After hearing this, the angry Senju Hashirama gradually calmed down. After hesitating, he asked Li Jing, "System, what I saw before are all real?" Li Jing was quite calm. He had long thought that Senju Hashirama would ask such a question. Ding. Yes, what I showed the host just now are all future scenes that have not happened yet. Li Jing did not mean to hide it and told him directly. Letting Dazu know the plot trajectory of the original work is not a big deal. On the contrary, it can make them have a sense of crisis and practice more diligently. Will Madara really be killed by that black Zetsu? Senju Hashirama's mood was very complicated, and he was particularly concerned about this friend whom he had just met not long ago. It was obviously the first time we met, but when I learned that the other person would die in the future, I felt an indescribable loss in my heart. Ding. The future picture given by the system is only a possible future. When the host possesses the system and knows part of the future, the trajectory of the future has changed. The host can completely rely on his own power to change the fate of others. Li Jing said, this is not that he deliberately comforted Hashirama, but it was indeed the case. Black Zetsu's own combat power is actually extremely low, and he cannot threaten Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama at all, and can only use despicable means to sow discord. And now that Hashirama has known the true face of Black Zetsu for a long time, it can be said that Black Zetsu has been directly abolished. King Ming Reading Ceremony. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. You are right. As long as I'm strong enough, that future will never happen. Senju Hashirama nodded slightly, agreeing with Li Jing's words. Through the battle just now, he also saw that Black Zetsu itself has no fighting power, only the ability to escape and confuse people. If you are prepared, just they will not be misled or deceived by the other party. While Senju Hashirama was thinking, a large number of Senju ninjas, led by Senju Hashirama, rushed here from the direction of the clan. Each of them looked serious, and they were obviously being killed. Attracted by the huge movement of escape, Senju Bujian knew very well that his son's strength had reached the shadow level. Although his reserve of moves and richness of combat experience were not as good as those of veteran ninjas, his strength was beyond doubt. He could. Forcing Hashirama to use such a large-scale wooden escape. There must be a powerful enough enemy. Hashirama, what happened? After briefly glaring at the forest created by Mudun, Thousand-Armed Buddha asked with a frown. Father, I just met a very strange enemy on my way back. Without the idea of hiding anything, Senju Hashirama revealed all about Black Zetsu's existence. It is not a human, but it has a human form. It is a black monster that cannot be killed. Unable to kill? Thousand-Armed Buddha Giant's eyes narrowed. If anyone else had said this, he would have suspected that he was not strong enough. But the wooden dragon summoned by Hashirama just now was still hovering in the dense forest. Facing such a wooden dragon, even Senju Hashirama himself can't do it. He really can't think of any existence that can survive such an attack. Unless it's like Hashirama said, the opponent is a monster that can't be killed at all. Troubled times, Thousand-Armed Buddha murmured. He knew that in the face of such a monster, only sealing techniques would be useful. Perhaps it's time to re-establish contact with the Uzumaki clan over there in the country of Uzumaki. They are all ninjas who have inherited the physique of the Six Paths Sage, but the sealing technique that the Uzumaki clan is good at is a secret technique that the Senju clan has never mastered. Very suitable for targeting these difficult to kill monsters. Aha. The Senju ninjas searched the surrounding area to prevent Black Zetsu from leaving and still lurking. After several rounds, Senju Hashirama finally followed the others with peace of mind and returned to Senju's clan. Tens of thousands of meters away, in a hidden cave, Black Dew rose from the dark and damp ground, leaning against the cave wall with an ugly expression. I was careless. I didn't expect that brat to be hostile to me and to be so strong. However, he is so terrifying at the age of 11. If he is allowed to grow to a mature age, he might grow into a figure like Six Paths. Heiju's eyes revealed deep fear. His own strength was too humble, and he had no room to fight back against ordinary shadow level experts, let alone the most powerful ones at the Six Paths level. In the past, the techniques of misleading and bewitching that he was best at were completely useless in front of Senju Hashirama, who was hostile to him from the beginning. Kill. This genius must be killed now. Black Zetsu's eyes became deeper and deeper, thinking about everything. Factors that can kill Senju Hashirama. Time passes day by day. With the help of multiple wooden clones, Senju Hashirama's practice quickly got on the right track. A team of 5 clones were sent by him to learn physical skills. They punched and kicked against the thick ancient trees in the forest every day. They perfectly combined the skills of Daluo Demon Subduing Fist and Shunpo to create his own new system. The clones of the other team of 5 began to read books studying Taoji and other ancient books exchanged from the system mall in order to continuously increase his knowledge and experience. As for Hashirama's true form, he was practicing the wood release chakra while engaging in actual combat with Madara Uchiha. Every time you have a new idea or ninjutsu creativity, you can verify it through this actual combat opponent. If there were any consequences, it was that Uchiha Madara's delicate and handsome face became slightly ugly, often looking miserable with patches of blue and purple. But even so, Uchiha Madara was not angry with Senju Hashirama. Because he gained a lot from the fights again and again, and even secretly memorized many of Hashirama's physical skills and attack ideas. Good times are always short. War and chaos are the themes of this era. When the Uchiha clan started a war with another world famous clan, Madara, as the young leader of the Uchiha clan, went back directly instead of continuing to fight and practice with Senju Hashirama. Hinata is the name of that big clan, and he is also an ally of the Senju clan. King Ming Reading Ceremony. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th, Chapter 29. It's a new war. In his room, Senju Hashirama stopped practicing after hearing the news. His training speed is relatively fast, but no matter how talented he is, if he wants to grow to the point where he can overwhelm the entire ninja world, there is nothing he can do. It will take a few years now. He is still developing too slowly. If he has been cultivating in the Senju clan and followed the step by step, it will be difficult to become stronger. Senju Hashirama glanced at only a few more than 1,000 points during this period of training. He used the system mall to exchange for a lot of things. The points were bottoming out and were no longer enough. The Great Wilderness Body Training Method and the Basic Ki Training Method could not keep up with the current situation yourself. If you want to exchange for more advanced methods, the points required are in units of tens of thousands. System, is there any way you can get points quickly? Senju Hashirama's consciousness went deep into his mind and asked Li Jing. The system prompts that the host can obtain valuable items from wealthy businessmen, families, countries, etc., and exchange them for points. Rich businessman, family, nation. Senju Hashirama frowned and thought deeply. It is obvious that no matter which of these three ways, he will not hand over his wealth obediently. If he adopts a serious transaction method, Hashirama will also have to pay items of equal value. Calculated, there is not much profit. Therefore, the acquisition mentioned in Li Jing's mouth is a naked robbery. Money is something external to the body. To ordinary people, it has no great value other than as currency. But the host can exchange it for points to enhance its own strength. If the host can end the war in the world one day early, it will be much more precious to ordinary people than any gold, silver and jewelry. Li Jing kept encouraging Senju Hashirama to cause trouble. The sound was obviously a cold, mechanical sound that was deliberately fabricated, but it was filled with the meaning of a seductive and magical sound. The small treasury has not received points for too long. Even if Dazuli himself is not anxious, Li Jing is anxious for the system. What you said makes sense. After listening to Li Jing's words, Senju Hashirama couldn't help but ponder. After thinking about it, it is indeed the fastest way to rob people of their money. To rob the money of ordinary people and kind-hearted people, of course. Dazu couldn't do this kind of thing. As for the rich, how many rich people abide by etiquette and morality in such chaotic war years? As their minds become more mature, at least they can't do anything about robbing evil people's money. On the other hand, Senju Hashirama will not have any psychological burden. Not only that, there are also resources owned by the major hostile ninja clan, such as iron ore, copper mines and other resources, which are also one of the sources of stable points. Looking at Kai and duties, Yujian agreed with his idea, and Li Jing nodded slightly. Let's start with the small ninjas and ordinary wealthy businessmen. When the big pillar becomes bolder, we can let him get rid of the famous names in the Land of Fire. After all, courage has to be developed little by little. Li Jing did not suggest to rob the national treasury now. Firstly, Senju Hashirama's ideas have not been completely transformed, and he has no idea about changing dynasties and replacing daimyo. Secondly, the daimyo of the Fire Country can exist safely surrounded by many ninjas. Must have a backup plan that Li Jing doesn't know about. Before Senju Hashirama's strength is strong enough to sweep everything, Li Jing will not let this host take risks. Only by maximizing benefits. Based on Gao's premise, this is Li Jing's rule. Not long after, Thousand-Armed Buddha directly sent someone to issue the order. Let Senju Hashirama lead a small force to support the Hyuga clan, just like the last time Hyuga sent people to support Senju. In order to increase Dazu's enthusiasm, Li Jing casually issued a new task. Anyway, the money in the small treasury is just idle. It is better to use it as mission rewards to enhance the strength of a wave of big pillars. Mission released. Mission name: showing power to the warring states. Mission introduction: assist the Hyuga clan, who are allies, to kill as many enemies as possible on the battlefield, gain the most points, and let half of the ninja clan in the Land of Fire know the reputation of the host. Mission rewards: Jianmu visualization picture, 5-element seal. Li Jing almost gritted his teeth and gave these rewards. Half of the small treasury was directly spent. The most important part of it is the visualization of building wood. It is a condensed Tao charm of the world on the side of immortals and gods. For users of wood type abilities like Senju Hashirama, the benefit effect is no less than that of the Shianshin Jinden. If Senju Hashirama's talent for cultivating is enough to be a demon, then it is not impossible for him to start cultivating with this wooden plan. Jianmu. Senju Hashirama glanced at the mission introduction given by Li Jing and was quite excited about the mission rewards. He didn't know what Jianmu was, but he still knew about the 5-element seal. This high-level sealing technique was exactly what is currently lacking. If he had known the sealing technique before, he would never have given Heiju any chance to escape. I must seal that monster next time. Senju Hashirama narrowed his eyes slightly. He didn't want to affect the friendship between him and Madara because of some unwarranted misleading and bewitching. King Ming reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab it now. Recharge. Activity time. April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 30. 10 Jonin and 20 Chunin. Point. This is the elite troop Lanoop led by Senju Hashirama. Including his cage level combat power, it can be said that the Senju clan has been of great help to the Hyuga clan. Point. Even more than Hinata's help to Senju. Is this because the Senju clan is generous, or is it that the Hyuga clan gave them particularly generous rewards? No, neither. At the entrance of the Thousand Hands clan, Thousand Hands Buddha looked at the back of Hashirama, who was gradually retreating. His eyes always remained calm and composed. This elite force was specially arranged by him for Hashirama. In addition to being powerful, the most important thing is that it is experienced. It can very well help the young Senju Hashirama to avoid making mistakes on the battlefield. Point. Slowly develop them into qualified leaders in another area of the far country. This place has become a battlefield between the Uchiha clan and the Hyuga clan. Point. The blood inheritance limits of the two ninja clans happen to be the pupil type. Point. When playing it, it feels like the tip of a needle is hitting the horn of wheat. Point. For a moment, the entire battlefield was filled with the sound of explosions from the fire escape and the sound of physical strikes from the soft fists. However, the noise of the battlefield did not affect the Uchiha camp. Senju Hashirama left the Senju clan and led an elite team to support Hinata. Uchiha Tajima looked down with doubtful eyes. It was an Uchiha ninja wearing standard armor with a red fan symbol engraved on his back. Yes, Patriarch. The ninja was very nervous and swallowed his saliva. Everything was told to me by that mysterious man. Mystery man? Where are people? Returning to the clan leader, the mysterious man had already left after informing him of the news. Hearing this, all the high-ranking Uchiha people present looked at each other. Point. The inexplicable mysterious person informed them of the movements of their rival, the young clan leader. This is really weird. Point. People have to suspect that it is a conspiracy. Patriarch, should we believe it? A close confidant stepped forward and said cautiously, just do it. To everyone's surprise, Uchiha Tajima changed from his usual cautious attitude and spoke very decisively. The blood-red 3 Magatama Sharingan glanced at all the Uchiha executives present. He was aloof and a little indifferent. You also know the strength and potential of that brat. If you don't seize the opportunity to get rid of him now, he will become a major problem for Uchiha in the future, and he may even be destroyed by the opponent. In this case, why not try to believe in this opportunity, seize it firmly, and strangle the enemy in the cradle? The worst outcome is just to be ambushed, allowing Uchiha to end earlier. Uchiha Tajima's voice was very steady, causing the pupils of the Uchiha executives present to shrink. Indeed, if we don't seize the opportunity to get rid of Hashirama now, when Hashirama grows up, Uchiha will really have no chance. Clan leader, let me attack that Senju brat. A white-haired Uchiha clan elder stood up slowly. Chakra fed his body back, causing his old body to briefly return to its prime. Point. He was sublimating to the fullest, planned to overdraw the last life in exchange for a brand new future for Uchiha. I'm coming too. Count me in. Uchiha ninjas stood up one after another. They were either physically disabled or old. Point. They all wanted to use their limited lives to contribute to Uchiha. Uchiha Tajima nodded slightly, his indifferent face unchanged. I will contact the Hagoromo clan and ask them to send an equal number of Jonin to assist us. If 20 or 30 Jonin couldn't kill that boy, maybe this was Uchiha's destined future. Uchiha Tajima murmured. He didn't notice anything strange about the eldest son standing next to him. Hashirama. Uchiha Madara opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but after looking at the serious expressions of many elders, he finally did not say anything. Just as Dazu guessed Madara's identity, Uchiha Madara quickly realized Senju Hashirama's identity. Point. But in the long-term fight, in order to maintain the identity of friends, the two teenagers tacitly chose to conceal their identities, and now, this fragile friendship faces its first test. Do you want to tell Hashirama? Uchiha Madara's heart was extremely complicated. He clenched his hands into fists and dug his nails deeply into the flesh of his palms. Released waves of pain. Family friend. Two difficult options were placed in front of the young Uchiha Madara at the same time. He remembered what Senju Hashirama once said, to create a world where everyone can coexist peacefully, including hostile ninja clans and hostile countries. Although this sentence sounds very childish, Madara knows that what the Senju boy said is true. And he also said that he would create a peaceful world with Hashirama help. Taking a deep breath, Uchiha Madara made a decision in his heart. After finding an excuse to sneak out of the Uchiha camp, Uchiha Madara directly summoned the messenger pigeon specially designed for ninjas. He wanted to tell his friends about the ambush, and at the same time, please friends, please don't hurt the Uchiha ninjas. As for the ninjas of the Hagoromo clan, I'm sorry, I have no melons. Sorry, I've been eating the melons from the TX next door today, and I was so angry that I forgot to code. Alas, luckily Filu didn't. He looks like this. King Ming reading gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 31. After seeing Uchiha and the Jounin of the Hagoromo clan move out en masse, Heiju, who had been hiding in the darkness, quietly retreated. To be honest, he felt that these Jounin alone were not enough. The Senju brat was too weird and ordinary Jounin could not cause much harm to him. However, shadow level experts are very rare now. They are usually the heads of various clans, and it is difficult to induce and bewitch them. It seems that I still have to take action myself, Heiju murmured, looking down at his pitch black hands. His combat effectiveness was close to nothing, but he had a ninjutsu that could take advantage of others' unpreparedness and control other people's will, forcing the enemy to change the target of his attack. If he could control the target of his attack in the chaos during the battle, take the opportunity to invade Senju Hashirama's body and make him commit suicide, that would be the best thing. On the other side, it was just like the information Black Zetsu revealed to the Uchiha clan. Senju Hashirama is leading his elite troops and rushing towards the direction of the Hyuga battlefield. Aha, aha, aha. There was a sound of breaking through the air, and swift figures one after another shuttled through the forest. Compared with the Senju ninjas in the past, the ninjas who followed Senju Hashirama this time were all very powerful, less cold and more oppressive than the ninjas. The running speed has also increased by 20 to 30%. All this is thanks to the immortal skills taught by the young patriarch. Some ninjas looked at the 11-year-old boy who led the team with reverence. Although Hashirama was younger than anyone present, everyone respected him and regarded him as the next leader of the clan. The great wild body training method is far more effective than Hashirama and Li Jing thought. After the basic physical fitness is improved, the strength of the Senju ninja with strange power skills has skyrocketed. Even the total amount of chakra extracted has increased accordingly. There are even some tribesmen with strong physical skills who, after experiencing the tempering of the Great Wilderness body training method, directly impact from the genin to the jounin level. When Senju Hashirama heard the news, he was also shocked, and he also specially understood. I checked that person's name. Senju Haman. A geek with almost zero ninjutsu talent. He couldn't even perform the simplest clone technique, but he was very good in the field of taijutsu. The world is so big, there are all kinds of wonders, Senju Hashirama said with emotion at that time. It is conceivable that as he gradually exchanges more secret techniques, all the weirdos of the Senju clan will be conquered by a dig it out. By then, even if Hashirama has not grown to the point of overwhelming the world, the ethnic group that continues to grow stronger as a whole will be able to make strong statements in this world. Ding. The system prompts that there is a large amount of chakra reaction ahead. On the way, Li Jing's voice sounded directly in Senju Hashirama's mind. Enemy? Senju Hashirama was stunned for a moment and asked subconsciously, system, are you sure? Ding. Host, please rest assured that the detection of this system is not wrong. There are a lot of chakra reactions hidden in the dense forest ahead. If the host advances at the original speed, it will only take 3 minutes to enter the opponent's ambush location. Li Jing was not in a hurry, but was looking forward to the next result. Those who can ambush here are most likely the Uchiha clan and the Hagoromo clan. If I can get a few more pairs of Sharingan, I will have a lot of points for the little treasury. Just when Senju Hashirama was thinking about whether to change direction or launch an ambush, there was a bird song in the sky, and a ninja-specific messenger pigeon swooped down. After hovering in the sky for a while, it rushed straight to Senju Hashirama's location. The armor standing neatly on the shoulders looks very intimate. This is Madara's messenger pigeon? Senju Hashirama was puzzled and took out a small piece of paper from the carrier pigeon. Browsing through the content at a very fast speed, Senju Hashirama's eyes were happy and embarrassed at the same time, which seemed very complicated. Li Jing was behind him and read all the contents of the note. TSK, Madara at this period is still quite innocent. Sure enough, before he has experienced the darkening, his feelings for Dazu are irreplaceable by anyone. It wouldn't be a loss if he could let go of a few old, weak, sick and disabled Uchiha people and gain Madara's full favorability. Li Jing's was amazed point. Although Senju Hashirama knew about the ambush through the system first, his inner joy did not diminish at all when he received a special reminder from his good friend. This made him feel that the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan were not they cannot coexist point. Even if the grievances between the parents are deep, they can still shake hands with the younger generation. But what to do? Senju Hashirama waved his hand, causing all the ninjas and the elite force to stop. He was thinking about how to reasonably let go of the Uchiha ninjas, so that his good friends would not be sad. At the same time, he will not let the ninjas in the family think that he has betrayed the family. Uchiha, Hagoromo, Hashirama was talking about the two ninjas who were ambushing this time. His eyes became brighter and brighter, and he seemed to have a countermeasure. Kingming Reading Ceremony. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 32. What's wrong, young clan leader? A Senju ninja walked up to Senju Hashirama and asked in confusion. Years of intuition on the battlefield told him that something must have happened. There is an enemy ambush ahead. Please wait for my order. Senju Hashirama explained in a deep voice while asking Li Jing in his mind, can the system detect the direction of the other party? Yes. According to the system scan, the opponents are scattered on both sides of the forest. The chakra on the left is highly similar to the Uchiha clan, and the chakra on the right is closer to the Hagoromo clan. Sure enough, Senju Hashirama's eyes sparkled with an inexplicable light point as he expected. Although the ninjas of the two families were ambushing together, due to the suspicious nature of the ninjas, they would not turn their backs to each other point, so it can only be divided into two parts. To encircle it point, this makes the problem very simple. 1,000 meters ahead, two groups of ninjas used ninjutsu to hide their figures and lurked in the tall tree canopy. Scattered here and there were more than 40 people in total. All of them are Jounin level ninjas. Although most of them are old, weak, sick and disabled death squads, no one will underestimate such a fighting force. Strange, why did the Thousand Hands clan stop? Could it be that they discovered an old Uchiha ninja was hidden in the canopy of trees, observing the surface from a high place point? He is the oldest member of the Uchiha clan's ambushers and has considerable combat experience. His name is Uchiha Tansuke point. But before Uchiha Shiansuke could have doubts, the Senju ninjas took action again point, running straight towards the ambush site point. To be more precise, he was rushing straight towards the Oromo clan on the other side point. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. For the Jounin, the distance of 1,000 meters was just a matter of a few breaths, and they rushed into the circle surrounded by the Uchiha clan. The Hagoromo clan. Kill the future of the Thousand Hands clan here. The ninjas of the Hagoromo clan took the lead in attacking, and a total of 20 Jounin came out to form seals and perform spells together. Fire release, great fire extinguishing. Wind release, great breakthrough point. To completely different ninjutsu mixed together. Like the most concentrated, the fuel was detonated in an instant point. A strong whirlwind blew through the forest, blowing off thousands of leaves, forming a terrifying storm that swept everything. The fire escape that followed was swept by the storm and continued to spread with the trajectory of the wind, turning into an endless sea of fire that devours everything within sight. The scorching waves of air and the sea of fire like a tsunami can swallow up and burn the enemy in an instant point. This is the superpower used by 20 Jounin together. Giant combination ninjutsu, whether it is speed, range or power, is first rate point in this era of shadow level hibernation and super shadows. This is the strongest attack in the eyes of all ninjas. There is no one. That brat from the Senju family is finished. Uchiha Shinsuke subconsciously sighed while leading other Uchiha ninjas. He couldn't even dodge or block such an attack. He really couldn't imagine how a child who was only 11 years old could catch it. Bang! The roaring explosion came as expected. Even if they were far apart, the Uchiha ninjas could feel the high temperature hot wind blowing in front of them, forcing them to stop to avoid being accidentally injured by the friendly forces of the Hagoromo clan. Sharingan, open. Someone turned on the Sharingan and wanted to use the Sharingan's insight to see through the battlefield. But they saw a scene that was extremely shocking and made people fear from the depths of their hearts. Bang! The thick wooden wall rises from the ground, like an infinite wall connecting the sky and the earth, isolating all flames and tornadoes. No matter how the flames erode, the wooden wall can be restored to perfection at an extremely fast speed point, but this is the work of an 11-year-old child monster. The ninjas of the Uchiha and Hagoromo clan felt a chill in their hearts. The joint attack of 20 Jounin was actually blocked by one person. This can only mean one thing, that is, that the strength of the other party is completely superior to this. Shinobi is at the cage level of the major clan leaders. He can be so relaxed and freehand, just like a Jounin crushing a Genin, completely ravaging many Jounin present. The ninjas of the Uchiha clan hesitated. They didn't know whether to follow the plan. They rushed forward to join the ninjas of the Hagoromo clan and jointly attacked and killed Senju Hashirama. Ninjas were not afraid of death, but they were afraid that they were worthless. It was meaningless to simply die. Would release Wood Dragon technique. When the Uchiha ninjas hesitated, a loud shout came from the top of the wooden wall. Senju Hashirama formed a hand seal with his hands and stood tens of meters in the air with his feet on the wooden wall, causing the entire forest to resonate and echo. Dragon rise. The momentum is earth shaking. Actually, there is no film level setting at this time, but for everyone's convenience, the film level I have always written as the Patriarch level. King Ming reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab it now. Recharge. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 33. Being in a dense forest area, Senju Hashirama has the most natural home field advantage, both in terms of chakra consumption and the power of wood release. This is something the Uchiha and Hagoromo clans don't know. Otherwise they would never ambush here. But now, it's too late. The extremely violent wooden hover dragoned in the sky, its whole body made of thick tree trunks and vines, and roared silently. With one move, the divine dragon swung its tail, and the heavy wooden dragon's tail whipped into the sky, exploding the air. The unparalleled dragon's power is simply not something that a mortal body can resist. Back off. Everyone, step back. Uchiha Shinsuke's pupils shrank sharply, and he shouted loudly, causing the Uchiha clansmen to retreat. He finally knew what kind of enemy he was facing. It was not a weak sheep that could be bullied. It was an extremely terrifying demon wolf. Swish, swish, swish. Uchiha's 20 Jounin retreated at a faster speed, even exceeding the previous speed limit, frantically urging chakra to escape. The huge wooden dragon seemed not to notice the mants and headed towards them. The ninjas of the Oromo clan ran straight into it. This made many Uchiha ninjas, led by Uchiha Tansuke, feel very lucky. Bang! A deafening crash came from behind. The Uchiha ninjas couldn't help but look back. Their eyes widened, and even their escape speed slowed down. What the Sharingan saw was too much horrible, completely beyond their knowledge and common sense. Monster. What kind of monster was born to the Senju clan? Without the legendary Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha would not be able to compete with it. When Uchiha Shinsuke witnessed with his own eyes, the wooden dragon smashed into the earth and created a huge crater. The 20 Jounin of the Hagoromo clan died instantly and were seriously injured. An indescribable sadness and anger emerged from his heart. Today the Hagoromo is the Uchiha of tomorrow. With such a talented young clan leader as Senju, does the Uchiha clan, as an old enemy, still have a future? Uchiha Tansuke doesn't know if he and others can escape, or is it the Senju pillar, the result of deliberately letting go? Now he just wants to return to the camp, tell Uchiha Tajima the news, and let the clan leader decide Uchiha's next development strategy. The rise of Senju is unstoppable. On the other side, Li Jing could not help but feel a little regretful as he watched Uchiha Tansuke and others gradually go away. These are 20 Uchiha Jounin. Although they may not all have 3 Magatama Sharingan, the 2 Magatama ones are also very valuable. After conversion, nearly 100,000 points were earned. It's a pity, it's a pity. Li Jing shook his head slightly, but he didn't care too much. There are many opportunities to earn points. I don't care about this one time. The relationship between Dazu and Bang Yi is more important point. Moreover, this time it is not completely absent. Harvest point. Li Jing cast his eyes on the half-dead ninjas of the Hagoromo clan and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. As a jounin, it is naturally impossible to wear the same clothes as ordinary genin. A suit of armor, swords, and a little money, one person can do anything. Contributed hundreds of points would release their art of cutting. On the other side, after seeing all the Uchiha ninjas leaving, Senju Hashirama completely let go and used the cutting technique to kill all the remaining ninjas of the Hagoromo clan. The decisiveness of the battle and the ruthlessness of his attacks made him. The 1,000-handed ninjas behind him nodded one after another, their eyes filled with relief. Almost at the same moment, Li Jing directly used the system's collection ability to collect all the valuable items from those ninja sting. The loot is automatically collected and converted into a total of 4399 points. System, why weren't there so many when I redeemed them before? Senju Hashirama's expression remained calm to his subordinates, but he was questioning Li Jing in his heart. The gains from these 20 ninjas alone were about half of what he had previously participated in the battlefield. Ding, the trophies this time are all jounin level items, both in value and quality, far exceeding the equipment used by ordinary ninjas on the battlefield. Li Jing replied. This time he did not deceive the silly big pillar. You know, the gap between equipment and equipment is huge point in this era. When blacksmithing techniques were not very developed, the time required to refine a good piece of equipment was several or dozens of times longer than that of ordinary standard equipment. Correspondingly, the exchange price in the system mall will also increase. From this point of view, jounin is quite valuable. Senju Hashirama's eyes flashed with an inexplicable light. There was another way to make a fortune, which made him feel at ease. In this way, he could exchange for more things. I always feel that Dazu is being led astray by me. Glancing at Kyanja's Hujian, Li Jingpo felt as if he was leading a child astray. But Dazu is only 11 years old now, so it seems that he is right to say that he is leading a child astray. Thanks for the rewards and monthly tickets. I won't write names because there are so many people. I'm too lazy to do the same as other authors and dedicate a chapter to thank you for brushing the catalog numbers. King Ming Reading gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points for free. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 34. Although the Senju ninjas were slightly curious that the big pillar could detect the ambush in advance, they didn't ask any more questions. In their view, it is not surprising that the young clan leader who can perform such a powerful wood escape ninjutsu has the ability to sense the enemy's location. It seems that the patriarch's worries are unnecessary. An elite jounin in his prime side with emotion. He was a close confidant of Senju Budama and was sent to assist Senju Hashirama to prevent the young clan leader from making any wrong decisions due to lack of experience. But now it seems that Senju Hashirama does not need the care of others at all. He is stronger than anyone else. Even if something really goes wrong, he can use his absolute strength to turn the tide. All in all, keep going. Shaking his head, the elite jounin waved his hand, signaling the other ninjas to come out from behind the wooden wall and join Senju Hashirama to move forward. What he didn't notice was the fleeting black light behind him. Hidden beneath his feet. In the shadow of Senju Hashirama. When the jounin approached Senju Hashirama, the black light hidden and the shadow suddenly burst out and rushed towards Senju Hashirama with amazing bouncing power. Yin Yang escape spiritual fusion. Hahaha, Azura, go to the pure land of the underworld and reincarnate again. Hey Zetsu's strange voice came out from the black light, turning into a pool of extremely viscous black liquid, completely covering Senju Hashirama's body. However, any place covered by the black liquid became unprotected. Senju Hashirama is in control and is not always controlled. He even pulls out the kunai at his waist and prepares to stab himself. Protect the young patriarch. The expressions of the Senju ninjas changed drastically, and they rushed forward one by one. They wanted to help, but they were afraid of hurting Senju Hashirama. Point on the contrary, Senju Hashirama, who was the person involved, looked calm, and his eyes moved slightly downward. Looking down, holding the black liquid wrapped around his body. "I finally caught you." The words fell. Senju Hashirama's right hand, which had been controlled by Black Zetsu, suddenly burst out with dazzling golden light, shattering the layers of Black Zetsu liquid. The Black Zetsu was forcibly expelled, and a large amount of Black Zetsu liquid was sealed into the golden light in the palm of his hand middle. How is it possible? Black Zetsu screamed. Senju Hashirama, who didn't know the sealing technique a few days ago, can now use such a powerful sealing technique, not to mention that the Senju clan has no sealing technique inheritance at all. Even if it does, it's just a few days. How can it be possible to successfully cultivate in such a long time? This is no longer a question of whether Shine is not a genius, but it is simply impossible. Black Zetsu's eyes flashed with madness, and he tried his best to escape from Senju Hashirama's suppression, but he still couldn't escape the bondage of Golden Light Town. Senju Hashirama shouted. The golden light brought with it an unparalleled sense of oppression, suppressing Heizetsu's body in place and sealing it all. The golden light turned into a mass as black as ink, imprisoning Heizetsu's seal in it. Can't break free. Cool. After doing all this, Dazu breathed a sigh of relief and secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, there was a system reminder, otherwise I would have been in trouble this time. As soon as Heiju approached, Li Jing immediately noticed him and reminded Kian, between the hand pillars, let him spend 5,000 points to buy a golden light spell from the system mall and use the power system of another world to seal Black Zetsu. Originally, Li Jing was worried that Heiju could not be sealed, but the golden light spell was far more effective than he imagined. Facing the product of another world, Black Zetsu's ability to absorb chakra completely loses its effect and cannot break free from it. Should I sell Black Zetsu? Li Jing mused. There is nothing that cannot be exchanged for the system. But the existence of Black Zetsu itself is quite special, and it is related to a series of plots in later generations. If it is exchanged for points, then the plot of the Naruto world will completely go crazy and lead to a future branch that Li Jing doesn't know about. Let the big pillar decide. Li Jing thought for a while and decided to hand over this problem to his host. After all, Senju Hashirama is the one who made the decision. Can it be exchanged for points? Senju Hashirama was just stunned for a moment, then nodded and said, exchange it. After knowing what Heiju did in the future, he didn't have the slightest fondness for this monster. It would be a good choice to exchange it for points. Ding. The special life black magic was successfully redeemed, and a total of 50,000 points were obtained. Li Jing waved his hand and took away the golden light spell that sealed Heiju in Dazu's hand. This is the first time Senju Hashirama has made a huge sum of money. He only exchanged an item and received 50,000 points, including the points that Li Jing received from some kickbacks in private. Heiju could redeem nearly 100,000 points in total. The reason why so many points can be redeemed is mainly because Heiju's life form is special. He is a rare intelligent life that can escape yin and yang and has the basic characteristics of immortality. If it weren't for its weak strength, it would have been possible to get a higher price in the system mall. TSK, the small treasury has a little more. Li Jing glanced at his little treasury with a smile on his face. With his own little treasury, he could better issue tasks, give task rewards, and guide the actions and development of Senju Hashirama. More importantly, when the system level rises to a higher level, he can also use these points to strengthen himself. King Ming Reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. 50,000 points. Is this dark thing so valuable? Senju Hashirama's eyes flashed with surprise. With these 50,000, he could redeem all the wooden release ninjutsu he wanted. Skillfully opening the system mall, Senju Hashirama redeemed it on the spot. There are several would release ninjutsu point. They are Bokujin no Jutsu, Minato no Jutsu, and Banpei no Jutsu point. Bokujin no Jutsu's huge body is bigger than Wood Dragon. As long as the user's chakra is enough, it can fight the entire body. Susanoo can also activate the wooden dragon to attack during the attack point. The Kabuto no Jutsu is a more flexible group ninjutsu, which can instantly release countless wooden hands on the surface. It is also large scale. The destructive power of the ninjutsu and Bude no Jutsu is not as great as that of Juke Adori, but each wooden hand can operate more flexibly and adapt to the user's wishes. As for the ranking technique, it is a purely defensive ninjutsu. In the original work, the strength of this ninjutsu can be used to withstand the sword of the mighty Susan, which is quite powerful. Ding. The redemption was successful and a total of 15,000 points were deducted. These advanced would release ninjutsu are too expensive. Each costs 5,000 points. Senju Hashirama felt quite pained, seeing his points drop from more than 50,000 to more than 30,000 point in this way. He wanted to get up to 100,000 points. Upgrade the system and open higher end products. I don't know how long it will take. Li Jing smiled slightly and didn't say much. The exchange price of ninjutsu jumped from level to level. From the lowest level of basic wood escape, it only takes dozens of points, and then thousands of points for the current higher level wood escape point. When the big pillar opens the third level mall, and can be redeemed for thousands of immortal magic and true magic, its price will inevitably exceed 10,000 point. After all, the big pillar still has too little experience. Unlike myself, after experiencing the severe beatings of a certain enterprise and a certain Yi, my heart has no fluctuations. Young patriarch, what was that just now? After Senju Hashirama finished the exchange and his expression and posture became relaxed again, some ninjas came forward and asked, and some ninjas were constantly on guard around them. The scene just now was too thrilling and really scared these ninjas. If something happens to Hashirama, the ninjas who accompany him can be said to be to blame. No problem, there was an enemy who wanted to attack me just now, but now I have killed him. After thinking for a moment, Senju Hashirama replied in a calm tone. He did not say it was a seal, because he has not learned the real seal now. The spell is just a one-time sealing item temporarily purchased in the system mall. If someone asks him to cast the golden light spell again in the future, he will definitely not be able to use it. Anyway, Heniju has indeed disappeared, and it is not an exaggeration to say that he was killed. Keep moving forward, the Hyuga clan is still waiting for our support. Yes, the Jounin responded, turned around and signaled the alert Senju ninjas to resume their formation. Senju Hashirama used Shunpo again at his feet, leading the way towards the Hyuga clan's territory, which was the battlefield between Hyuga and Uchiha Point, the Byakugan and the Sharingan. The two bloodline limited families with the most exchange value are fighting together. This means that the entire battlefield is full of eyes that can be exchanged for points. Senju Hashirama seems to see piles of points in the sky. Wave to yourself. On the other side, the battlefield Uchiha camp point. Uchiha Tansuk led the remaining 19 Jounin back to the central tent of the camp. Tell the Uchiha clan leader and clan elders everything you have seen and heard before. Unknowingly, has that child grown to such a point? After a long silence, the clan leader Uchiha Tajima said slowly, as if he had aged 10 years in an instant. His voice became weak. According to Uchiha Tasuk, Kyan Hashirama's strength has surpassed the Jounin level and reached the level of clan leaders. This means that in the entire Uchiha clan, only Uchiha Tajima has the strength to fight against Senju Hashirama, and it is not a guaranteed win. That old guy in thousand-armed Buddha room hid it well enough. Uchiha Tajima's face was gloomy and uncertain. The combined strength of Senju Budama and Senju Hashirama are to cage level battles, which has surpassed that of the Uchiha clan. Unless someone in the Uchiha clan can upgrade the 3 Magatama Sharingan to the legendary main Gekkai Sharingan. Otherwise, you will never get ahead. In this battle, it seemed that Uchiha was defeated. Uchiha Tajima looked at the Hyuga clan in the distance. He knew that the Hyuga Tenin, the leader of the Hyuga clan, was also a strong man. With the help of Senju Hashirama, the Hyuga clan could definitely break the current deadlock and counterattack Uchiha the Wave clan and the Hagoromo clan chief. Should we retreat? Someone spoke cautiously, but before he could finish speaking, His head was cut off with a knife called Uchiha. Tajima waved his ninja sword and wiped away the blood on the blade. His eyes cold. He glanced at all the Uchiha ninjas present. Eyes extremely indifferent in my Uchiha clan. There are only heroes who die standing up, not losers who live on their knees. If you don't even have the courage to fight the enemy, then you don't deserve the blood of Uchiha. King Ming Redding gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time. April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 36. Uchiha Tajima's meaning was quite clear. No matter how strong Senju Hashirama's would releases, he has to wait until he fights it. If he doesn't even have the belief to fight, then he is not worthy of being called an Uchiha ninja. The clan leader spoke, and no one present had any objections. Only Uchiha Madara's eyes flashed with confusion. We were good friends to play with. Why did we become so strong? On the other side, the elite troops led by Senju Hashirama have rushed to the edge of the battlefield. At the top of the mountain, Senju Hashirama is wearing red armor and carrying a white Hyakure chakra sword. The muscles of his youthful body are prominent due to the exercise method. Underneath his childish appearance, he hides an absolute power as violent as a tsunami. This is the Warring States period. Senju Hashirama stood on the top of the mountain, looking down at the chaotic battlefield below. The three big clans of Uchiha, Hinata, and Hagoromo fought together, and small and medium-sized ninja clans such as Shimura, Sarutobi, Amemiya, and Izumi were forcibly led to fight and resist. This is the situation in the Fire Nation today. Senju, Uchiha, Hinata, and Hagoromo, the four top ninja clans, each occupy a side. Among them, Senju and Hinata are in alliance, and Uchiha and Hagoromo belong to the same camp. Led by these four large ninja clans, other small ninja clans were forced to join the battle. There are endless wars over the resources of the Fire Nation. This is not only the situation in the Land of Fire, but also the situation in the entire ninja world. Every country has an extremely large number of ninjas fighting. Some national governments even collapsed because of this, and their names were killed by ninjas. The only exception is the Country of Fire. Even though the most powerful ninja clans have gathered in the Country of Fire, the daimyo still uses unique methods to firmly control the political power and separate the ninja war from the civilians. This world is too chaotic. The more killings he witnesses, the more determined Senju Hashirama's mind becomes. He wants to calm down this war-torn era, forcibly stop wars around the world, and establish reasonable rules and regulations, so that the entire world can be peaceful for a long time. In the more books I read in the system more, the Senju Hashirama has a deeper understanding of human nature. Mere force cannot bring peace. Only rules that cover all industries in society, can restrict and involve everyone. Whether it is society or capital, either way, or a utopia like a castle in the air, these are all new systems that can be tried in the ninja world. Perhaps I can prove myself through this war and make my father feel that I have grown up and can take over the position of clan leader. A light flashed in Senju Hashirama's eyes. When he becomes the clan leader, he can openly purchase servants in the system mall. Whether it is logistics or combat, or even politics, technology, and economy, the talents in the system mall are also useful. Many Senju ninjas headed by Hashirama jumped down. Chakra gathered at the soles of their feet, and they ran vertically along the mountain, rushing straight down. The emblem of the Senju clan was so dazzling under the sunlight, would release multiple wood clone. In midair, several physical wood clones separated from Hashirama's body, and flew towards different directions on the battlefield. He used different wood release ninjutsu to help the Hyuga tribe try not to kill the Uchiha clansmen, but beat the Hagoromo clansmen to death. But the main body stepped on the shunpo all the way, stepping forward and stagnating, and rushed into the center of the battlefield with invincible taijutsu strength. He punched an extremely terrifying strange power, directly destroyed a corner of the battlefield. Make a lot of money. During this process, Li Jing opened a storage space and harvested wildly, collecting all the valuable loot on the battlefield. Byakugan, Sharingan, and all the gold and silver he carried with him, he collected them all. The points were skyrocketing. The amount of money in the small treasury keeps rising. Bang! Hearing the sound of explosions coming from far away on the battlefield, the Hyuga Tenin in the fierce battle forced his opponents back with one punch. He looked thoughtfully at the thick ancient tree that penetrated the sky. is that the Senju would release, that has been rumored recently. It's interesting. The rich chakra is simply unbelievable. The Hyuga Tenin opened his Byakugan and more intuitively observed the rich chakra inside the Wood Escape product. He is the contemporary Hyuga clan leader, and has been in the shadow level field for many years. He is only one step away from the super shadow point, but even so, and when he saw the thick wooden chakra contained inside the wooden, he couldn't help but feel a sense of astonishment. With this level of chakra, could it be the reincarnation of the Six Paths Sage? How could someone's chakra be so rich? The situation. Senju has such a young genius, and he actually hid it for 11 years, waiting for it to grow up, before making it public. Hyuga Tenin had many thoughts, and attributed the sudden increase in strength of Senju Hashirama to the Senju clan's concealment. When will our Hyuga clan be able to give birth to such a talented new generation? Alas. Hyuga Shinin shook his head. Fortunately, Senju and Hinata are allies. He doesn't have to worry about anything point if possible. He can continue to enhance the relationship between the two ninja clans, such as marriage, transactions, strategic exchanges, etc. I heard that the Senju young patriarch is unmarried. Chapter 37. A shadow level combat power. The fighting strength of 10 Jounin. 20 Chunin fighting strength. The arrival of the Senju ninjas gave the ninjas in the Hyuga camp a shot of stimulant. All of a sudden, Uchiha was defeated in succession. Damn it, these damn Senju ninjas. The Uchiha clan members with Sharingan eyes activated immediately reacted and rushed towards the elite troops brought by Hashirama. The strange power that the Senju clan is best at will greatly increase the strength and speed of the body, but the Uchiha clan, the Sharingan, happens to have highly dynamic vision and can observe the trajectory of high-speed objects. This also makes a tacit understanding appear on the battlefield of the Land of Fire. Whenever a ninja from the Senju clan appears, the Uchiha ninjas will take the initiative to attack. Step forward and use your Sharingan to fight against the strange power. The same goes for today. These guys are going to be cold. Attached to Senju Hashirama's body, Li Jing separated a battlefield that focused on the outside world. When he saw the Uchiha ninjas rushing directly towards the ninjas of the Hard Steel Senju clan, he knew this group of Uchiha ninjas is about to become obsolete. The Senju ninjas who have practiced the Great Wilderness strengthening technique are much stronger than before. This improvement will not bring about a qualitative change in strength, but if there is a slight error in this kind of intelligence, it will on a potentially lethal battlefield. It was enough to cause heavy casualties to the Uchiha ninjas. Humph. Uchiha's hyena, headed by the elite Jounin, the Senju ninjas activated their strange powers at the same time. The chakra gathered, and the mud beneath their feet exploded. They flew out at a speed that ordinary people could not catch, either with fists or kicks, catching the Uchiha off guard. The ninjas brought a wave of destruction. Senju Hashirama also paid attention to this battle, subconsciously shook his head and sighed. Although he wanted to protect his tribe for his friend Uchiha Madara, this was a battlefield after all, not a place where he could act on his own initiative. Is he going to betray his own people for the sake of his friend's people? Senju Hashirama no longer paid attention to the battles of his clansmen, but instead focused on the most intense areas of the battlefield. Explosions continued, and the fluctuations of chakra were chaotic. Even the aftermath of the battlefield was too much for the other ninjas to bear. In this battlefield, the only people who can cause such violent fluctuations are undoubtedly the heads of the Uchiha, Hagoromo and Hyuga clans. The leader of the Uchiha clan. I don't know if I can compete with it now. Senju Hashirama murmured. His current strength has surpassed that of Jounin. But after all, I haven't fought against a real cage level player, so it's hard to judge my own level of strength. Dazuzi is going to fight his father-in-law. Bah. He's going to fight Madara's father. Li Jing looked at Senju Hashirama with slight surprise. Although Senju Hashirama himself loves peace, his desire to become stronger as a ninja has not faded. With his growing strength, he began to long for someone with the same strength. Opponent. Instead of crushing them with overwhelming force. System, do you think I can fight against a clan leader level ninja? Senju Hashirama spoke again, this time directly asking Li Jing in his mind. Ding. According to the system's strength standards, the host's strength is at the same level as the heads of the 4 major ninja clans. All they lack is combat experience and many skills. Li Jing thought for a moment and finally said, Anyway, as long as he is here, nothing will happen to the big pillar. It is also a good thing to face a shadow level strongman in advance to increase your combat experience. Okay, since the system has said so, I'm relieved. Senju Hashirama nodded slightly, focusing on the most intense battlefield area. The gentle wood release chakra is under the control of the user. Unparalleled bursts of energy erupt on the surface of the body. The power in the next second, the whole person disappeared from the place, and the speed reached the extreme. Some ninjas who had always paid attention to Senju Hashirama's movements were stunned. Seeing Hashirama rushing towards the most intense battlefield area, they felt that the worldview had completely collapsed. Even if he killed Jonin like a dog at an 11-year-old body, he still. Do you want to fight against a powerful person at the level of a clan leader? This world is too bizarre. The young patriarch is still too impulsive. The Senju elite Jonin, who was also paying attention to Hashirama, frowned. A few of you will stay and continue to help the Hyuga clan. The rest of you will follow the young clan leader closely to prevent any accidents from happening. Yes, the ninjas all have calm eyes and are not afraid to enter the battlefield of several shadow levels. For them, protecting Senju Hashirama is the most important task, even if the price is death. That's the case for ninjas. Snort. On the other side, Uchiha Tajima, who was fighting fiercely with the Hyuga Tenin, also noticed the arrival of Senju Hashirama. He snorted coldly, and the 3 Magatama Sharingan was completely released, and the majestic pupil power poured out. A heavy power, even the air became extremely stagnant, so oppressive that it made people breathless in Uchiha Tajima's heart. Although Senju Hashirama was powerful enough, he still couldn't compare with his old rival Senju Budama. He wanted to. This ignorant young man knows what real power is. King Ming reading gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 38. Fire Escape Dragon Fire Technique. The roaring flame dragon roared in the sky, and the fire was surging, boiling the air around the battlefield as soon as it appeared. With the blessing of Uchiha Tajima's cage level strength, a small seal level ninjutsu was used with the terrifying aura of an S level ninjutsu. Not only did he push back the Hyuga Tenin beside him, but he also attacked the running Senju Hashirama at the same time. Senju Hashirama frowned, relying on his strong physical fitness to forcefully change the movement trajectory in the middle, hoping to avoid the mighty flame dragon. Haha, just a small skill, just a master of a skill. Uchiha Tajima showed a sarcastic expression, quickly forming seals with his hands, and the fire dragon also changed its direction. He bit the back of Senju Hashirama. The normal 3 Magatama Sharingan is already capable of seeing clearly the jinkriki of the tailed beast's coat. The ability of high-level taijutsu ninja movements, and Uchiha Tajima's 3 Magatama Sharingan is only one step away from the kaleidoscope, which means that the current Senju Hashirama cannot escape its lock at all. The only way is to fight head-on. Is this the strength of my father's generation? Senju Hashirama took out the Hyakure chakra knife from behind. The overly wide stainless steel blade did not look short even in front of the flame dragon. The roaring energy and blood in the body were combined with the vibrant wood release chakra. Jointly aroused the strange power. He cut out the most simple sword. Senju Hashirama never knew any fancy sword skills. He once had the opportunity to get an earth-shattering wave sword, but he didn't draw it because the opportunity was not good. What he has is an exaggerated brute force to the extreme. Cool. The huge blade slashed down like an eternal silver stream, directly cutting the oncoming flame dragon into 2 pieces. This blow directly made everyone present understand how far Senju Hashirama had used the unique strange power of the Senju clan. What a monster. This thought came to everyone's mind subconsciously. Using a young man's body to challenge the leader of the Uchiha clan is unprecedented and the first of its kind in history. Humph, Shiansuke and the others are right. We will never let you continue to grow. Uchiha Tajima's eyes became colder. Although he had no words, he and the leader of the Hagoromo clan gave up attacking the Hyuga Tenin at the same time. Together they quickly rushed towards Senju Hashirama, trying to kill this extremely young child. Would escape wooden spindle wall. Senju Hashirama's reaction was very quick, and he activated the wooden escape defensive ninjutsu in time. TSK 2 against 1. What two shameless old guys. Li Jing rubbed his chin while watching the battle, expressing disdain for the behavior of the two clan leaders. He was not worried about the safety of Senju Hashirama. Not to mention that there was a Hyuga Tenin around to help. The big pillar itself had a trump card. A blow from a strong man point no matter what. To shadow levels cannot threaten life unless Uchiha Tajima advances to the main Juki Sharingan, which will bring danger to Senju Hashirama point, but this the probability is too small. Bang. 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 The sounds of fighting among the 4 shadow level warriors were heard one after another, and the strong winds caused by the aftermath of the battlefield made no ninja around dare to get close. Even the Jounin of the Senju clan could only stay on the periphery, for fear of not being able to. After helping Senju Hashirama, he was killed by the aftermath first. Only Li Jing showed little interest in such a scene, and had no special expression. In this era, Dazu's current strength is considered sufficient, but he is a little short of a chance to unify the Fire Nation. After this incident is over, we will arrange a new wave of cultivation methods. When the big pillars develop more, we can start to try the self-cultivation immortal mode. Li Jing pondered deeply, arranging the way for Senju Hashirama to become stronger in the future. Sage mode is too important. The combination of Senju chakra and would release chakra can even reach 1 + 1 = 4. Even if Senju Hashirama doesn't learn any other new skills, but just learns the sage mode, he can directly transform from the shadow level to the super shadow level point. As for the 6 paths level, he has to make other plans. After a long fierce battle, the battle between the 4 shadow level players ended in a draw point. This is not because Senju Hashirama deliberately lets off steam, but because he is still young and lacks combat experience. Facing the combined attack of 2 veteran shadow level players, they often cannot defend and react perfectly. But just like this, the other 3 ninjas became more and more shocked. Even those who lack fighting experience can force a draw. If they get older, they can make up for this shortcoming. Isn't it going to soar into the sky? Retreat. Uchiha Tajima and the leader of the Hagoromo clan evacuated quickly. Senju Hashirama wanted to let his friend's biological father go, so he naturally did not pursue him, and even the Hyuga Tenin stopped. When Uchiha Tajima returned to Uchiha, after the camp, all Uchiha executives could see the gloomy look on his face. Everyone evacuates. Winter is coming. The Uchiha clan will stop all wars before next spring. At the same time, I will practice in seclusion until I develop the main Juki Sharingan. There was anger hidden deep in Uchiha Tajima's tone. He felt deeply ashamed that he was tied with his junior's Kingming Redding gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 39. The Uchiha clan evacuated very quickly, so fast that even the allied Hagoromo clan did not react. Is that guy Uchiha Tajima so afraid of the Senju brats? The leader of the UIE clan frowned and thought deeply. After thinking for a moment, he also issued the order to evacuate. When Senju Hashirama led the elite troops to the battlefield, the war had no meaning in continuing. The Fire Nation has continued to be like this for a long time. 2 great ninja clans suddenly attacked the hostile ninja clan and quickly retreated after the opponent's support arrived. The purpose of this is to consume the opponent's vitality as much as possible before the real decisive battle comes. As for the safety and interests of the Xianin clan, that is not something that a few great ninjas should consider. There is no shortage of weaklings in this era who are willing to be lackadaisical. In the Hyuga clan's territory, Senju Hashirama and his party were invited to enter the Hyuga clan's territory. Along the way, there were many Hinata clan members curiously looking at the passing Hashirama, making the young man slightly shy. It wasn't until he entered the depths of the Hyuga clan and was invited into his residence by the Hyuga Tenin to have a chat that Senju Hashirama let out a long breath. When you get older, you will get used to it. Hyuga Tenin put on a kimono and made hot tea for Senju Hashirama. This one is much bigger than Senju Budama and Uchiha Tajima. An old man with kind eyes and a gentle demeanor. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, I'm afraid no one would believe that this old man would be a decisive and murderous cage level ninja. Maybe. Senju Hashirama showed a naive expression and scratched his head dully. This is a gesture that everyone is familiar with, and it is also the Senju Hashirama that Hyuga Tenin is familiar with. Hinata and Senju were friends a long time ago. alliance, so it is correct to say that Senju Hashirama was raised by Hyuga Tenin. Was it that I was too contemptuous before? Or is this child's stealth skills too profound? It is difficult to understand how Senju Hashirama's strength is exposed. Zen. Hinata Tenin shook his head. Puff puff. The old palm, which was like a dead tree, held the teapot firmly. Boiling tea is poured into the teacup from the spout of the pot, and the tea leaves are mixed with the water and swirled. As if he suddenly thought of it inadvertently, Hyuga Tenin said while pouring tea, Hashirama, your newly acquired blood inheritance limit is really magical. Almost exactly the same as a powerful ninja from myths and legends thousands of years ago. Senju Hashirama murmured to himself. His biological father also said this. He said that Mudan was once owned by the ancestors of the Senju clan, so the elders of the Senju clan believed in the Senju clan. If you think about it, I feel that he has really obtained the inheritance of the Six Paths Immortal. Does the old patriarch know the name of that ninja? Senju Hashirama couldn't help but ask. This? I don't know much. You Senju clan elders should know better. Hinata Tenin held a cup and took a sip of hot tea. But as for the name, I do know it. The name of that ninja is Asura, the rumored son of the Sage of Six Paths and the heir to the ninja sect. Asura again. System, what does this Asura have to do with me? Senju Hashirama couldn't help his mind sinking into his mind and asked Li Jing. After thinking for a moment, Li Jing decided to tell part of the truth and let Dazu know it in advance. Point anyway, since selling Black Zetsu, the plot has already moved on. If it collapses, it doesn't matter if it collapses a little more. Ding. The Thousand Hands clan is the descendant of Asura, the son of the immortal of Six Paths. In other words, Asura is the ancestor of the host thousands of years ago. In the long passage of time, Asura's chakra still remains in the world, randomly appearing in his descendants, and in this life it happens to be attached to the host's body. The host, please rest assured that this chakra is not harmful to the host. If there is a risk of endangering the host, the system will take action to eliminate the danger as soon as possible. Li Jing gave Dazu a reassuring answer. As for Asura and Indra falling in love and killing each other, we will have to wait and find out by Dazu himself later. It's useless to talk too much now, that's it. Senju Hashirama suddenly realized from the beginning, what he said was not a lie. He did inherit the inheritance from his ancestors. This is good. In the future, he can legitimately package the things produced by the system and say everything it has become the inheritance of the Six Paths Sage. The young man nodded with satisfaction. He had no feeling for the chakra of his ancestors in his body, or in other words, his character would not care about this. Speaking of which, Hyuga and Senju can be considered distant relatives, but they are only distant relatives separated for thousands of years. They all originated from the legend of the Six Paths thousands of years ago. Below, Hyuga Tenin slowly spoke. The old man with kind eyes smiled and said, everyone is saying that the abilities of the Six Paths have been divided into several different ninja clans. If the people of these ninja clans marry each other, the blood blending may give birth to quite outstanding children. Born in a life form very close to that of the Sage of Six Paths Hashirama, you are 11 years old, and you will be able to get married and have children in 2 or 3 years. The old man said this with a hexy smile on his face, and his meaning was quite clear. Looking at this scene, the corner of Li Jing's mouth twitched. He suddenly thought of a very serious question. If Dazu gets married in the future, should he read it, or eat it? King Ming reading gift. Top up 100 free gifts, 500 VIP coupons. Top up immediately. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 40. On Myomu Mountain, deep inside the temple. Toad 1, who was revered as the Great Toad Immortal, rested slightly. Its eyes were cloudy and blurry. Due to its age, it could no longer move freely normally. When he was young, his strength was no less than that of a 6th-level expert. Even though he is old now, there is still a huge amount of Senjutsu chakra flowing in his body. Its vast wisdom gives it the ability to predict the future. Although it is only a small fragment, it is enough to ensure the safe existence of Myomu Mountain. But today, the Great Toad Immortal suddenly lost sight of the future. The fragments of the future that were originally observed were all blurred and turned into strange gibberish-like gestures. The future changed. The great toad immortal opened his eyes in a rare move. Surprise, astonishment, confusion, all the meanings disappeared in a flash, but soon returned to his turbid posture. No matter what changes happen in the future, can it still be better than Kaguya Otsutsuki back then? Even Otsutsuki Kaguya, the ancestor of chakra, is still the same, haha. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the task and obtaining the Jianmu visualization map and the 5-element seal. The next day, on the way back to the Senju clan from the Hyuga clan, a system prompt suddenly came from the ears of the running Senju Hashirama. He is still naive and honest, and has no interest in the marriage proposed by Hyuga Tenin. As soon as day broke, he took 30 of his subordinates and returned to the Thousand Hands clan. Ignoring the beautiful granddaughter Hinata Tenin said mission accomplished, Senju Hashirama's eyes lit up. Since Hyuga Tenin has been bothering him about the marriage, he has forgotten that he still has a task that he has not yet completed. Ding. Yes, according to the system's test results, the host's strength has been widely spread in the Fire Country, and it meets the conditions for completing the mission, Li Jing said in the same tone as always. He wouldn't say that he had forgotten about it and only suddenly remembered it this morning. Waving his hand, two invisible streams of light escaped into Senju Hashirama's mind. They are the Jianmu visualization diagram and the 5-element seal. The vision suddenly appeared, and the Senju Hashirama who was running subconsciously stopped, and the wooden release chakra covered his body uncontrollably. Exuding strong vitality. Invisible pressure outlines the void and connects to the earth beneath your feet. 30 Senju ninjas suddenly froze on the spot, staring blankly at the scene in front of them. It seemed that what they were facing was not a single person, but an entire vast sea of ancient trees. The sea of trees surges around the tallest one, the giant tree that reaches the sky, and is so exaggerated that I don't know how to describe it. Young Patriarch. The Patriarch is indeed the destined one sent by the Immortal of Six Paths to save the Thousand Hands clan, as rumored. The rumors are true. Some ninjas who have been immersed in the battlefield for many years and have an extremely calm mentality couldn't help shouting. The scene in front of them challenged their three views. Only the immortals in myths and legends can explain such a scene. This is not contradictory, although the ninjas they possess extraordinary power, but there are still religions, gods, ghosts, and gods in the background of the times. After all, ninjas are also human beings, and they also believe in gods. Senju Hashirama integrated the momentum erupted from the Jianmu visualization diagram and completely conquered. He defeated them and conquered this group of superstitious ninjas. The young patriarch is the son of God. Such a bold idea came to the minds of the Senju ninjas. They looked at the Senju Hashirama surrounded by a sea of trees with fanatical eyes of reverence. Its loyalty has reached an unprecedented level. This is an unexpected surprise. Li Jing was suspended in the air in a state invisible to ordinary people, his eyes turning back and forth between the Senju Hashirama and the Senju ninjas. The first time he saw the Jianmu visualization diagram in the system mall, he knew that this was definitely a treasure suitable for a large pillar. But what he didn't expect was that it would cause such a big movement. Chakra is the source of life for ninjas, and the life breath contained in mutant chakra is even more. It is pure and exuberant. It highly resonates with the true meaning of Jianmu contained in the Jianmu visualization diagram, causing Senju Hashirama to enter a state called enlightenment. Li Jing did not know how long it would take to achieve enlightenment, nor did he know how long it would take to achieve enlightenment. What changes will it bring to Senju Hashirama? But it is conceivable that Senju Hashirama's strength will undergo its first real transformation. I'm really looking forward to it. Li Jing showed an elusive smile. Jianmu is not just a wild tree on the roadside. Its roots are rooted in the sky, its branches are scattered in all realms, and its crown carries an extremely heavy flow of chaotic energy. It is countless a mythical tree that is the foundation of the world. Even if you only get a little benefit from the tree visualization diagram, it is a huge surprise for the current Senju Hashirama. A full half hour passed. Li Jing and the 10 Senju ninjas waited until the end of their enlightenment. When Senju Hashirama reopened his eyes, the shadow of the vast giant tree disappeared without a trace, and the shaking of the sea of trees also disappeared. This is? Senju Hashirama was confused. From his perspective, he had just received the task reward from the system, and suddenly lost consciousness. He had no idea about anything. Ding, just now the host successfully resonated with the Jianmu visualization diagram and entered a state of enlightenment, which lasted for half an hour. Li Jing explained, it is easy to see from the thousands of hands on the big pillar that there are indeed ghosts and Buddhas in the Naruto world. This is also a habit in Japan. Chapter 41. An epiphany? Senju Hashirama blinked, looking very confused. His mind was all attracted by the Jianmu visualization diagram, and he was completely unaware of the passage of time in the outside world. It was difficult for him to imagine the moment in his own eyes. Half an hour actually passed in the outside world. Is this the power of the system? Senju Hashirama murmured. For the first time he had a vague understanding of the system he owned. He turned his head and glanced at the ninjas and found that these Senju ninjas of his uncle's generation were all looking at him with fanatical eyes. He knew that even if he explained, it would probably be useless. Shaking his head, Senju Hashirama flew directly in the direction of the Senju clan, preparing to conduct a detailed study of the Jianmu visualization diagram and the 5-element seal. After returning to his room, sand. The sound of dense but light footsteps sounded behind. The sound of the soles of feet stepping lightly on the grass. 30 Senju ninjas followed Senju Hashirama closely, as when they came. It's just that when I came for protection, but now I come more to surround myself with the gods. Bang, bang, bang. There was a sound of breaking through the air, and Senju Hashirama stepped on Shunpo, crossing the wilderness at a lightning speed. It seemed to be one of the benefits of enlightenment. Senju Hashirama found that his control of chakra was more refined. Even if he didn't deliberately, you can also use Shunpo naturally. You can free up more of your mind to focus on other things. It's going to be winter. As Senju Hashirama hurried on, he looked at the small villages with smoke curling up in the distance. Those are the residences of ordinary people and are not under the jurisdiction of any ninja clan. They are only governed by the daimyo of the land of fire. Now the cold winter is approaching, and many ordinary people have begun to stock up on firewood in order to survive this difficult winter. Peace. Seeing this scene, Dazu, who was originally happy because of gaining new power, instantly became silent. He knew that hundreds of people froze to death every winter. He wanted to lend a helping hand, but he also knew that his own power was in vain. Waiting. Senju Hashirama is waiting for the time when he is strong enough. At that time, he will change the world and change this dilapidated and chaotic world. It seems that I have to let this humor read more books in the future. Li Jing still supports his host's ideals. It's just that he knows better than Senju Hashirama that if he wants to make the world peaceful and orderly, he needs more than just his power. There must also be laws or rules that are reasonable and comprehensive enough. And these are what Senju Hashirama lacks. With a slightly heavy heart, Senju Hashirama returned to the Senju clan all the way. When he saw himself, when his biological brother came to greet him, the young man showed a happy smile to Birima. Why are you here? Senju Hashirama walked forward with a smile and touched Senju Birima, who was only 7 or 8 years old. The future second generation Hokage was just a young Shota at this time, facing the touch of his own brother. Sometimes, he even showed an embarrassed blush. Li Jing on the side was amazed. If possible, he really wanted to take a picture of the scene in front of him and then show it to the second generation, who grew up in the original plotline. Brother, I have heard in the clan, can you really be on par with the Uchiha clan leader? Senju Birima raised his head and looked at Senju Hashirama with adoring eyes. His eyes were full of admiration for his biological elder brother. Ha ha ha, of course it is true. Senju Hashirama's eyes became very soft. As he walked towards his house, he told Senju Birima his story on the battlefield. The Senju clan members he met occasionally would respectfully call him young clan leader. Senju Hashirama responded politely one by one. This man who wants to bring peace to the world has never forgotten that his people are the existence that he values the most. An hour later, after chatting with the young Senju Birima for a long time, Senju Hashirama was able to send him out of the house and have some free time alone. Goo 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 goo. He touched his shriveled belly and was just about to walk out of the room and go to the kitchen of the Thousand Hands clan to find food. He was stopped directly by Li Jing. Ding, a friendly reminder from the system. There is still a delicacy set meal in the system space, with a total of 28 delicacies. Please remember to get it. Host, Li Jing reminded. These 28 dishes have been placed in the system space for a while. Although they will not deteriorate, they are placed together with a bunch of knives, swords, and eyes. There is always a subtle sense of weirdness. If you don't tell me, I will forget it. Senju Hashirama slapped his head violently, showing his naive character. The Senju clan's wars were too frequent, and their busy life made him completely forget about these 28 dishes. System, release. Senju Hashirama was about to ask Li Jing to take out 28 dishes, but after scanning the size of his room, he finally changed his words. Let's take out one dish first. Ding, the first dish, Shenlong dumplings. Host, please try them. Li Jing waved his hand and withdrew 10 points from his coffers, redeeming them in the mall for a plate of steaming dragon-shaped shrimp dumplings. In order to prevent accidents caused by the aroma escaping, he also thoughtfully put up a small protection point completely seals the aroma of food in the house. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Dumpling. The shape of this dumpling is quite special. Senju Hashirama took a whiff of the aroma of the food. It was a fragrance that was different from what he usually eats. It was also mixed with the aroma of strange seasonings that he had never smelled before. And just looking at the crystal clear skin of the shuraiyu dumplings, it was so clear it was like a misty feeling, like 7 exquisite orifices. You knew that this dish was different from ordinary dishes. After watching it for a while, Senju Hashirama directly pinched a dumpling with his fingers, threw it into his mouth and chewed it. Tasty. The boy's eyes suddenly widened, and his hand, that had not yet reached back, reached forward to grab a Shenlong dumpling again. The slight sweetness of the shrimp meat, the softness of the dough, and the various flavors in it all made the 11-year-old the young man had endless aftertaste. It was indeed produced by the system, and must be a high-quality product. While Senju Hashirama was eating with enjoyment, he asked Li Jing in his mind, System, when will we open the jars and draw the lottery again? Or, are there any relevant recipes and raw materials in the mall? Ninjas have a huge appetite, even children. Senju Hashirama finished the dumplings very quickly and looked at the empty plate with great aftertaste. Even though he only ate one dish this time, even if you only eat one dish every day, you can only last for 28 days. Everyone likes delicious food, and there is no harm if there is no comparison point after eating these delicious dishes from another world. Senju Hashirama became more interested in the ordinary dishes in his family. Slightly disgusting. At least in Li Jing's perception, the world of Naruto became gradually stable after the establishment of 5 ninja villages. Technology, food, and daily commodities slowly became popular and developed. Ding, when the host point balance reaches 200,000, a special event will be reopened. There are recipes for elated delicacies in the system mall, but the seeds of some raw materials can only be obtained in special modes. Li Jing deliberately set the next time he will earn points with a balance of 200,000. Originally, he planned to set it at 100,000 points, but he felt that if he really had 100,000 points, it would be more cost effective to upgrade the system first. After all, the items in the second level mall are top level, that is, super shadow level, and not all of them are included. The Jianmu visualization picture is already one of the best items in the secondary mall. The third level system is better, and you can redeem a lot of good things by then, Li Jing thought happily. If you want to have the ability to fight against the 6 paths old man and the tailed beast in a short time, relying on the second level mall alone is not enough. It must be a third level mall. Of course, if there is enough time, the current Senju Hashirama can also grow steadily to the level of 6 paths. The system reminds me that there are a lot of trophies in the storage space. Can I exchange them for points? The total is 49,000 points. Taking a glance at the overflowing storage space, Li Jing reminded Senju Hashirama appropriately one sentence. Fortunately, you remember the system. I almost forgot. Senju Hashirama was stunned for a moment when he saw the swords and armors crammed into the storage space, as well as the bloody eyes of the Uchiha and Hyuga clans. He smiled awkwardly. He had been busy on the battlefield. During the battle, he completely forgot that Li Jing was helping him automatically collect the loot. System, exchange it, Senju Hashirama said in a familiar manner. Ding, the exchange is successful. 49,000 points have been deposited into the host balance. Li Jing waved his hand and exchanged all the loot in the storage space into points. Follow the old rule and eat some yourself point. Then he divided all the remaining 49,000 to Senju Hashirama. In addition to the previous more than 30,000 points, Dazu now has more than 80,000 points. System, do you think I should keep the points and upgrade them when I reach 100,000, or should I redeem some items now to improve my strength? Looking at his 5-digit points, Senju Hashirama asked hesitantly. There were too many things he wanted to redeem in the system mall point, but the 100,000 points required for system upgrade were not many. If he spent them it may take a long time to reach 100,000 points next time. Li Jing considered his words for a while before slowly speaking. Ding, the system recommends that the host exchange some goods first to enhance his own strength and leave a certain amount for upgrading the system. The Kingdom of Fire is about to enter a cold winter, and even ninjas do not want to fight in such weather. This means that the war has ceased and the large points channel has been temporarily suspended. Since idleness is idle, it is better to redeem 1 or 2 methods and let Dazu practice diligently. Maybe I can still successfully cultivate the immortal mode this winter. Okay, I listen to you. Senju Hashirama trusted Li Jing's words very much. He kept 50,000 points and took out more than 30,000 points to browse the items he wanted in the system mall. Chapter 43. Under Li Jing's suggestion, Senju Hashirama completely redeemed 30,000 points. He obtained a meditation method that can be used with the Jianmu visualization chart, as well as physical skills that are more advanced than the Dahuang body training technique and the Daluo Fumo fist. After the mental and physical aspects were resolved, Li Jing directly asked Senju Hashirama to exchange for a psychic technique, Rashomon, a prop-type psychic ninjutsu that often appears in the original work. It can summon a strong door symbolizing death to withstand terrible physical attacks. In the original work, even the tailed beast Jade cannot easily destroy Rashomon's existence. After exchanging everything, he looked at the gradually darkening sky outside the window, and Senju Hashirama started practicing directly in the room. He planned to wait until the next morning to visit and greet his biological father. Cool, invisible waves passed around the room, completely beyond the ninja's perception. The 1,000-hand pillar is running the meditation method, sinking into the mind and visualizing the picture of building trees reaching the sky and the sea of mind. He was observing the true meaning of Jianmu and feeling its charm point soon. Just like last time, Senju Hashirama began to indulge in the perception of Jianmu's visualization, and his spirit wandered freely, admiring in his heart the things that had no physical existence. Visualization diagram point. The longer you meditate, the longer you visualize building wood point. Senju Hashirama's spirit grew stronger and stronger in the world of Naruto. Such behavior is called the practice of yin power. Yin escape represents the power of the spirit, which is related to intangible things such as wisdom and emotion. It represents the inheritance of Uchiha's Sharingan. Yang Dun represents the power of the body, the source of life, and represents the inheritance of the immortal body of the whirlpool and the Senju. If there are no accidents, using the meditation method should enable Dazhu to successfully practice yin escape. Li Jing observed the practice of Kaienju's Yujian from the side, and countless thoughts flashed through his mind. He generally did not achieve the cultivation of the immortal mode. Worried. However, after cultivating the immortal mode, how to master the 6th level power has become a new problem. Although the so-called 6th level power has many forms of expression in the original work, to put it simply, it is yin, yang, the fusion of the 7 attributes of chakra, fire, wind, thunder, earth, and water. Those who confuse it on their own will automatically master the art of yin and yang escape, and can create the Tao Jaded will point even using blood that is more advanced than the blood inheritance limit after the net point. If Senju Hashirama can grow to such an extent, let alone the current ninja world, even if the 2 protagonists Naruto and Sasuke join forces in later generations, they will not be able to defeat this extremely perverted first generation. TSK, Li Jing clicked his tongue, and his mental body returned to Senju Hashirama, and he began to read the novel he had not finished yet. To be honest, he was quite curious in the original storyline. He only had the Sage mode, the big pillar, that can suppress the 6 paths Obito. After learning the 6 paths mode, what kind of bugs will it become? The next day. The bright moon sets in the west and the rising sun rises in the east. When the first ray of sunlight in the morning shines through the window, it shines on Senju Hashirama's body. The young man who had been meditating for a long time slowly opened his eyes and ended the whole night of practice. This tree building visualization is so magical. I haven't slept at all, but I'm not sleepy at all. Senju Hashirama blinked and felt that his energy was extraordinarily abundant. Not only that, his perception also became extraordinarily sharp. Can vaguely see the flow of air in the air. It is much more exaggerated than the perceptive ninja who focuses on detecting ninjutsu. The results of Tsujian's cultivation are much better than I imagined, Li Jing said to himself. He knew the reason for this change in Kaienja's Ujian. In the world of Xianxia, this change is called separation of consciousness from the body. It is also commonly known as the sixth sense. When Senju Hashirama meditates on Jianmu for a long enough time, his spiritual consciousness will become wider and wider, and he will be fully aware of all movements in his spiritual consciousness. Even the spirit can affect matter. Magical things according to the cultivation speed of Dazu. You can start to perceive natural energy this winter. When you sense natural energy, you can start practicing the magic of chakra. Li Jing was thinking about how to practice and followed Senju Hashirama's steps toward the clan leader's residence. Senju Hashirama, who returned victoriously, should go to visit Thousand-Armed Buddha, both emotionally and rationally. The patriarch and father. Senju Hashirama walked to the door of the patriarch's residence, knocked on the door, and said politely, "Come in." Senju Hashirama's voice was as always, with a serious and rigid tone mixed with a little hoarseness. He opened the wooden door very skillfully, and Senju Hashirama walked into this wooden house that was very familiar to him. In the middle of the hall of the house, he was doing something the leader of the Senju clan and his father, Senju Budhama. In addition, there was a visitor he had never seen before. A red-haired girl who looked about the same age as herself, and looked around curiously. The Uzumaki clan. Senju Hashirama was stunned for a moment. He knew the meaning of this hair color. It was a distant relative of the Senju clan and the unique hair color of the Uzumaki clan. Kingming reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab it now. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 44. Compared to Senju Hashirama's unfamiliarity, Li Jing guessed the girl's true identity, Uzumaki Mito. Although it was not explicitly mentioned in the original work, at this point in time, she should not be here. Li Jing fell into deep thought. He soon thought of the subsequent impact of changing the direction of history. Whirlpool water. The early appearance of the household is just the beginning. There will definitely be more stories that deviate from the original work in the future. Uncle, let's talk first. After seeing the arrival of Senju Hashirama, the girl, who was most likely Uzumaki Mito, stood up obediently and walked out of the house on her own initiative. This gave the father and son Senju Hashirama room to chat. When she passed by Senju Hashirama, she blinked her curious eyes and took a close look at this talented boy who was known to all the major ninja clans. Li Jing touched his chin and secretly sighed at the beauty of the big pillar. "Sit down, Hashirama." Senju Buddha's face was straight. His face looked extremely rigid and serious, and he motioned for Senju Hashirama to sit down, just like he had done since he was a child. Senju Hashirama was sitting directly opposite his father, with an equal expression. Look into each other's eyes. Yes, it seems that you have grown a lot. Senju Hashirama was very satisfied with his eldest son's performance, and his tense face relaxed a bit. It's not like he had never looked directly at Senju Hashirama like this before. However, Senju Hashirama's performance at that time was quite unbearable, and he could not bear the pressure caused by looking directly at him. Instead of being like now, he could face himself calmly and calmly. The child has grown up. Watching Hashirama's face gradually lose its childishness, Senju Bujian couldn't help but feel this way in his heart. Recalling the recent good news Thousand-armed Buddha's eyes were very complicated. His eldest son was evenly matched with his old enemy, Uchiha Tajima. Although he didn't win, it was enough to prove that Senju Hashirama's strength had reached the top of the warring states. Perhaps this was the confidence for him to face his gaze. Thousand-armed Buddha giant sighed in his heart, feeling sincerely gratified at the strength of his eldest son. It's time to let go Hashirama. Senju Hashirama called his eldest son by his name and narrowed his eyes slightly. His extremely serious tone made Senju Hashirama subconsciously sit upright and listen carefully to the next words. When this winter passes, you will inherit the position of clan leader, and the future of Senju Mori will be left to you. Yes, father. Senju Hashirama replied subconsciously, and then he realized something was wrong. Father, did you say something wrong? Senju Hashirama looked very surprised. Although Senju Hashirama had revealed this intention a long time ago, he never expected that he would become the leader of the clan so quickly. That's right, after this winter passes, I will directly invite guests from other ninja clans to witness the ancient ceremony of your succession as clan leader. Senju Hashirama said calmly. His attitude was very firm. Senju Hashirama opened his mouth, wanted to say something, but in the end he said nothing. On the one hand, he felt that he was not qualified enough and was too young. On the other hand, he urgently needed the identity of the clan leader to use the system all to lead the entire Thousand Hands clan toward a stronger future system. Do you think I can become a qualified clan leader? Senju Hashirama subconsciously asked the most trusted system for help. Ding. According to the judgment of the system, the host has all the element to become a qualified leader. Whether it is strength, character, or thoughts, they far exceed the standard passing line. Li Jing immediately replied, he is the leader of the Thousand Hands clan. The piles of gold and silver treasures have been coveted for a long time. Yeah. Senju Hashirama nodded slightly, feeling much more at ease. After a moment of silence, he decided to accept the position. Since he will become the clan leader sooner or later, what's the harm in becoming the leader now? It seems that you are ready. Thousand-armed Buddha giant smiled and nodded, as if a very heavy burden had been lifted, and his expression suddenly became relaxed. This winter, I will gradually teach you everything you should know as a clan leader, including the family origins and ancient legends of the Senju clan. If you have nothing to do, you can chat more with that girl from Mito. Well, she is the granddaughter of the current leader of the Uzumaki clan, and she is the same seniority as you. Didn't you say there was a monster last time? She was the helper I invited to teach the sealing technique. Thousand Hand Buddha said with a smile. King Ming reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 45. Senju Hashirama felt familiar with his father's gaze. Previously, when Hyuga Tenin was promoting his beautiful granddaughter, he seemed to be looking at him with this same look. Marry? Holding his forehead, Senju Hashirama felt his head was swollen. Regarding matters like marriage, his views were exactly the same as those in the original work, and he had no intention of actively trying them. The current big pillar, except for himself apart from my family, I just want to be close to my only good friend Uchiha Madara. Okay, I get it. In the end, Senju Hashirama agreed. Even if he didn't have that idea, looking at Senju Hashirama's appearance, he seemed to have no room to refuse. Okay, then you go out and have a good chat with Mito first. There must be a lot of topics among young people, Senju Butsuma said with a smile. After he was relieved of the burden of being the leader of the clan, he became more and more like an ordinary old man, and he was worried about his son's future. He even fantasized about being able to hold his grandson in his arms in a few years. Facing his biological father's warm gaze, Senju Hashirama felt his scalp numb. After exiting the room, he exhaled with relief, taking a long breath. When they walked out of the door of the patriarch's residence, the boy and the girl stared at each other with big eyes. There was an inexplicable awkwardness in the atmosphere. This is not acceptable for big pillars. If this continues, my future wife will fly away. Li Jing waved his hand and directly issued a temporary task to force Senju Hashirama to move. Ding. Post temporary tasks mission name, Diplomacy for the New Generation Mission Introduction. The Senju clan and the Uzumaki clan have been close distant relatives since ancient times. In order to maintain this rare friendship, the host is asked to establish a good relationship with Uzumaki Mito. Point mission reward. History book The Origin of Six Paths task. Senju Hashirama was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect that a temporary mission would be triggered. Although the mission reward was a history book he had never heard of, he knew that the system would probably not give useless things. Thinking of this, Senju Hashirama, under the curious gaze of the red-haired girl, Hashirama said hello stiffly. Well, my name is Senju Hashirama. First time meeting, nice to meet you. Awkward, newbie, novice in love. Li Jing gave Dazu a 1 point for his performance and shook his head secretly. But the girl laughed out loud, covered her mouth with her palms, and laughed for a while. He said, this is the first time we meet. My name is Uzumaki Mito. After receiving the response, Senju Hashirama relaxed completely and began to chat with Uzumaki Mito. Until then, his perception became sharper due to practicing the idea of building wood. Only then did I realize a strong breath of life in the girl's body. Your chakra life aura is very strong. Is the amount of chakra of the Uzumaki clan so amazing? Senju Hashirama felt the amount of chakra of Uzumaki Mito and expressed sincere amazement. This made Li Jing, who paid close attention to him, complain. If anyone were to complain about the amount of chakra of Uzumaki Mito, Li Jing would feel it. No problem point, but let Senju Hashirama come. Let this guy with both the immortal body and the wood type chakra come. A guy with enough chakra to rival a tail beast is surprised that the other person has a lot of chakra. Question mark. Thank you for your compliment. My chakra is a little more than that of my clan members of the same age. Uzumaki Mito smiled, simply feeling that Senju Hashirama was praising him. It was the first time that a stranger of the opposite sex praised him, and the girl felt a kind of feeling in her heart. She was indescribably happy. Especially the person who praised her was a young and powerful person recognized by the ninja world recently. Uzumaki Mito's mood became quite happy. He took the initiative to find a topic and walked side by side with Senju Hashirama on the street. When they met ordinary members of the Thousand Hands clan on the way, these clansmen looked at the talented young girls and showed meaningful expressions. This made the two boys and girls, who were only 11 or 12 years old, very confused. Mito, look, that is my biological brother Senju Hashirama. Although he is younger than me, he thinks much smarter than me. When walking through the training ground of the Senju clan, Senju Hashirama pointing at the short figure in the training ground, he introduced Uzumaki Mito with a smile. He is indeed a very powerful child. Seeing Senju Hashirama's flexible figure in the training ground, Uzumaki Mito nodded in agreement. Soon, under Senju Hashirama's greeting, his face became pink and tender. The young boy Senju Hashirama ran over, and at Hashirama's signal, he said hello to Uzumaki Mito. The excited Senju Hashirama originally wanted to chat more with Hashirama. But soon, this future the second generation felt that he was a bit redundant. The woman from the Uzumaki clan who just came today started chatting with Hashirama every time he wanted to talk. And Hashirama also chatted very cooperatively in order to complete the task. As he stood, he didn't notice the unhappy expression on his own brother's face at all. Brother, I'm going back to training first. Snorting arrogantly, Senju Hashirama returned to the training ground. He imagined the wooden dummy to look like Uzumaki Mito and ravaged it crazily with water. This hateful woman. When I become stronger, I will definitely knock you down and prove to my brother that I'm the best person to accompany him. Thinking of this, Nidame's movements of beating the wooden dummy became more violent and vigorous. King Ming reading gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 46. I accompanied Uzumaki Mito to visit the entire Senju clan until the sky turned dark again, and the girl with a smile on her face was sent away. Only then did Senju Hashirama let out a long sigh. It was so tiring to go shopping with a woman. If he had a choice, he really wanted to stay in seclusion for the whole winter. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the mission, and will be rewarded with a history book The Origin of Six Paths. Quite timely, Li Jing issued a task completion prompt, which instantly made the tired Senju Hashirama feel energetic again. It's done, but I don't know what this book actually records. Senju Hashirama said to himself, very curious about this history book with an extraordinary name. He did not take out the book from the system space rashly, but went all the way. After walking back to his room, he slowly took it out. Although he knew that the Senju clan's rear area was absolutely safe, Senju Hashirama was still quite cautious and did not carelessly expose the existence of the storage space. For such a change, Li Jing is very satisfied. System, what is this origin of 6 paths about? Sitting in the room, Kyan Zujian looked at the book in his hand and asked. Hosts can browse and view the books themselves to understand the content of the books. Yes. Senju Hashirama nodded. Anyway, he has the book in hand. If he wants to know what is recorded, he can just read it twice. He has a vague intuition that the things recorded in this origin of 6 paths, maybe it is related to the legendary sage of 6 paths. Open the cover, and the first page of the book is in front of you. Thousands of years ago, before humans developed ninjutsu and technology, a huge, weird-looking sacred tree fell from the sky. Then, what came next was Kaguya Otsutsuki, the guardian of the sacred tree, and a mysterious being from outside the territory. As the guardian of the sacred tree, Kaguya Otsutsuki unexpectedly fell in love with humans and gave birth to Hagoromo Otsutsuki and Hamura Otsutsuki. She had 2 children, but her safety was threatened by other humans. In order to protect the children in her belly, Otsutsuki Kaguya swallowed the fruit of the sacred tree and gained the power of chakra. She became the most powerful chakra ancestor of Kara. So this is the source of chakra, the sacred tree, Otsutsuki. Senju Hashirama frowned and looked at everything in the book. There were so many elements that he couldn't fully digest them for a while. After fully understanding this part, Hashirama continued to look at the following parts. Otsutsuki Kaguya gained absolutely overwhelming power and settled human conflicts. But her desire also expanded as her strength grew. Treat ordinary people as ants is the most true portrayal of her. Unlike their mother, Otsutsuki Hagoromo and Otsutsuki Hamura, who also inherited the power of chakra, have goodwill and sympathy for humans. They have repeatedly asked Otsutsuki Kaguya to stop treating humans. Persecution. The difference in philosophy between mother and son created an unprecedented battle that lasted for several months. In the end, Otsutsuki Hagoromo successfully sealed his mother in a huge spherical stone by relying on the immortal method learned from Mount Miyaki, and flew to the infinite. The high sky within reach of humans turned into the moon. Later generations would honor him as the immortal of 6 paths. Do you want to kill relatives out of righteousness? If everything recorded in this history book is true, then the truth of this world is too terrible. Senju Hashirama said with a tongue-tied tongue. It is unimaginable that the fruit produced by a tree can actually be in the world. The origin of chakra. What is even more unexpected is that the huge bright moon hanging in the sky is actually a thing created by the 6 paths immortal, sealing his biological mother. Bizarre, ridiculous, and unimaginable. If this news spreads, it will definitely be destroyed the 3 views of countless people. What a tragedy. Senju Hashirama shook his head and did not comment much on Kaguya Otsutsuki and Sage of 6 Paths with his character. He naturally felt that Kaguya Otsutsuki's behavior of disregarding human life was not good. But if not with human oppression and pursuit, how could Otsutsuki Kaguya eat the fruit? It can only be said that no one wants to see things develop to this point. System, do you think the power appearing on it is real and credible? After sighing at the bizarreness of the story, Senju Hashirama's eyes were attracted by the power mentioned in the book. He was very moved. If he had such a powerful power, let alone quelling the war in the Land of Fire, it is not impossible to quell the war in the entire ninja world. Ding. Everything recorded in the book is true, but theoretically speaking, it is almost impossible for ninjas in today's era to reach this level. At this point, Li Jing changed the subject, but the host has the help of the system to grow to this stage. There is no big problem. As long as the 3rd level system permissions are unlocked, there are countless ways for the host to become stronger. Even the cultivation method of the 6 Paths Immortal can be redeemed in the system mall, Li Jing boasted without blushing or heartbeat. Although he himself didn't know what the 3rd level system mall would have, it didn't affect his bragging at all. Well, with your help from the system, I can definitely realize my dream of peace. No surprise, Senju Hashirama firmly believes in Li Jing's words. The more he experiences, the more he feels that the system is extremely magical. Even the 6 paths immortals recorded in the book are not as mysterious and powerful as the system. Snapped, closed the book, and threw it back into the system space. Senju Hashirama slowly walked to the window of the house and looked up at the bright moon in the sky through the window. To be more precise, he looked at the sealed heretic golem. King Ming reading gift. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 47. The more he knew, the more Senju Hashirama realized his own insignificance. Before being bound to the system, the strong ones in his eyes were the elders at the Jounin level and the clan leader Senju Budhama. But now, with the broadening of horizons, I know the existence of the 6 paths level. Senju Hashirama's desire to become stronger gradually deepened. When spring comes and you inherit the position of clan leader, you can start to consider starting with other ninja clans and wealthy businessmen. The big pillar looked at the sky in the distance. If you want to become stronger quickly, it is impossible to practice on your own. Only by relying on the system can you quickly improve your own strength. If you want to obtain enough points by plundering the Sharingan and Byakugan, this road is probably impossible. In contrast, plundering gold and silver from the ninjas and wealthy merchants, it's a good choice. Senju Hashirama thought about his future plans, returned to the house, and sat up cross-legged, and started daily meditation training. Meditation directly replaced sleep. But invisible spiritual power rippled through the void. If there are any Uchiha clan members here, they can use Sharingan to observe the power of Yanetsu fluctuating and converging on Senju Hashirama. This is something quite unbelievable. Even if the immortal of 6 paths came to see him in person, he would be surprised by the performance of Senju Hashirama. Senju Hashirama, who inherited the human body of Yang Zixen, actually condensed such majestic spiritual power, no less powerful than a normal 3 Magatama Sharingan. Senju Hashirama, who had penetrated deeply into the sea of spiritual consciousness, did not notice at all that under the nourishment of this spiritual power, his body began to undergo strange changes. Every inch of skin, every inch of flesh, they have all been slowly tapped into more potential of the immortal human body. Even near the eyes, strange changes gradually occurred. The eyes of Big Pillar, Li Jing observed with interest. As we all know, the Uchiha clan inherited the Sharingan, which represents Yin escape, and the Senju clan inherited the immortal body, which represents Yang escape. Generally speaking, the 2 constitutions do not coexist at the same time. Even Uchiha Madara in the original work was implanted with Senju Hashirama's cells to gain the power of Yang release and allow the main Gekkai Sharingan to evolve into the Rinnegan. If Senju Hashirama is implanted with Sharingan, then Li Jing can roughly guess that the Samsara is being born. But in this situation, he couldn't guess what it would look like. Interesting, Li Jing murmured. While flipping through the novel in his hand, he separated a ray of his mind to observe Senju Hashirama so as not to be disturbed by any unexpected situations during the practice. This continued until the morning of the next day. Mito Uzumaki knocked on the door, and Senju Hashirama slowly opened his eyes. At that moment, the whole room seemed to light up. In another place far away in the land of fire. In the hidden valley, Uchiha people wearing Uchiha clan emblems walked around, stocking up on supplies for the coming cold winter. This year's winter is more ferocious than ever, and even the ninjas don't dare to treat it carelessly. Patriarch, do you really want to retreat at this time? Do you want to think about it again? Without you in charge this winter, other ninja clan may have different actions. In the deepest part of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Tajima stopped several clan elders from speaking, and looked quite calm. Needless to say, you also know that brat from the Senju clan. Without the existence of the main Gekkai Sharingan, the Uchiha clan would not be able to defeat the opponent at all. The person most likely to open my eyes now is me. If I don't take advantage of this winter, Uchiha will also become the soul of the Senju clan in the coming year. Speaking of this, Uchiha Tajima turned his head slightly and glanced at his 2 sons with the corner of his eye. Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Raizuna. He knew the common method of opening the main Gekkai Sharingan. It is necessary to use the pain of the death of an important person to force the evolution of the eyes, but Uchiha Tajima did not choose this method after all. Instead, he planned to use the method of retreat to face death personally and promote the evolution of the eyes. This is not only because of his love for the son has feelings, but also because Uchiha Madara himself is good enough. Madara, the fact that you can open the Sharingan at this age is enough to prove your talent. If there are no accidents, you will become the next leader of Uchiha in the future. Therefore, during my period of seclusion, you will temporarily take my place and protect the Uchiha clan together with the clan elders. The cold big hand slapped the young Uchiha Madara's shoulder heavily. The heavy words represented Uchiha Tajima's ardent hope for his eldest son. He knew better than anyone else that his potential was only the possibility of opening the kaleidoscope. But his genius eldest son has an extraordinary talent that will definitely open his eyes. If he accidentally dies in seclusion, then Uchiha will at least have a young clan leader with amazing potential who can carry the banner of Uchiha for him. Yes, father. Uchiha Madara nodded heavily, and his black and white eyes instantly turned into blood-red Sharingan eyes, with high moral point. Wait for Hashirama point. Although I'm not as good as you now, but one day, I will. It will also grow to your height. King Ming reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 48. The morning sun shines through the window and falls on the thousand-armed young man in the house. In that moment, the young man seemed to be integrated with the surrounding environment, and there was a sense of harmony between Tao and nature. After a whole night of meditation, Senju Hashirama's spiritual power became a little stronger. This tree building visualization is really magical. Senju Hashirama stood up, feeling full of energy, and not tired at all. Even the wood release chakra became powerful and solid. Boom boom boom. Hearing the knock on the door from outside, Senju Hashirama adjusted his clothes. When he opened the door, he saw Mito Uzumaki with a smile on his face. Good morning, Hashirama. The girl smiled, and then showed a confused expression. Strange. Why do I feel that you are a little different from yesterday? Maybe it's because of the unique perception talent of the Uzumaki clan, or maybe it's because the girl is particularly interested in Senju Hashirama. I immediately discovered the changes that occurred after Senju Hashirama's training. No, it must be your misunderstanding, Senju Hashirama said without changing his expression, and walked straight out the door. He didn't leave any time for Uzumaki Mito to be confused. Is it really an illusion? Frowned. Uzumaki Mito touched his nose and trotted to keep up with the pace of Senju Hashirama. Today is not so much about showing Mito as a guest. It is better to say that Mito took the initiative to follow Hashirama and see. Look at what this powerful and young Senju young clan leader will do throughout the day. To the girl's surprise, as the young clan leader Senju Hashirama, he neither went to the center of the clan where the clan elders gathered, nor went to instead. He went to the fields on the outskirts of the clan area and used his own wood escape chakra to nourish the land. This allowed the land to grow robustly in the increasingly cold weather. After all this was done, Senju Hashirama slowly walked to the training ground, ready to start the essential exercise of the day. Well, why do you waste your own chakra to nourish the frozen soil? Uzumaki Mito couldn't help but say. She really couldn't figure it out. Considering the background of the Senju clan, they should have prepared food for the winter. There is no need to do this at all. Senju Hashirama stopped and scratched his head innocently, as if he was thinking about how to explain. Finally, he turned his attention to another direction, separated from the Senju clan, where a large number of ordinary people lived. Village gathering place. This winter is colder than ever before. Ninjas who cultivate chakra will naturally not be afraid, but for ordinary people, such a winter is no different from killing with swords. The family can provide shelter and shelter for civilians, but it cannot provide too much food, because the ninjas themselves also need to eat. So having said this, Senju Hashirama showed a shy smile. In fact, there is another reason he hasn't said yet, that is, when the exiled civilians come to seek shelter from the Thousand Hands clan, he can directly exchange the existence of servants from the system and blend in among them. Anyway, in this chaotic era, even if some people you have never seen appear, it is quite normal. Ninjas don't think about the authenticity of their identities at all. Uzumaki Mito was so surprised by Senju Hashirama's words that he opened his mouth wide and did not recover for a long time. In his mind, Senju Hashirama's figure suddenly became taller and filled with milky white divine brilliance. Like the sun, it constantly shines on everything around it. Are there really such kind people in the world? With such doubts and admiration, Uzumaki Mito had no time to think about it until he walked into the training ground of the Senju clan and was attracted by new things. Bang! Dust filled the air and pieces of wooden clones appeared out of thin air in the spacious training ground. The space that was spacious before was instantly occupied by Senju Hashirama alone. Senju Hashirama divided these wooden clones into 4 parts. The first group went to practice physical skills, study the combination of different techniques and let the body remember the most instinctive muscle reactions. The second group went to practice ninjutsu, focusing on wood escape, while also practicing earth escape and water escape to improve the comprehensiveness of ninjutsu. The third group is responsible for reading books and reading all the classics redeemed from the system, all to supplement their own knowledge. The fourth batch is for the fine control of chakra and the further development of the immortal body to further amplify its own chakra advantages. Originally, Senju Hashirama wanted his clone to help he visualized the wooden plan. But the wooden plan seemed to have taken root and stayed firmly in his mind. In addition to the main body that can meditate and comprehend, other clones summoned by the spell cannot even perceive the existence of the Jianmu diagram, let alone meditate. Therefore, Hashirama's body found a shady place and prepared to start contemplating later. To be honest, this kind of training is very hard and boring. Because when the wooden clone returns to the original body, memory and fatigue also return. Not everyone can withstand the pressure brought by dozens or hundreds of clones. Li Jing couldn't help but sigh. Maybe it was because of the naive characters of Senju Hashirama and Uzumaki Naruto that they were able to withstand such exaggerated training. TSK, this little girl is completely dumbfounded. Li Jing glanced at Uzumaki Mito, who was dumbfounded in place. In this era, when the shadow clone technique has not yet been developed, the multiple wooden clones shocked other ninjas. No less than a feudal dynasty holding a sword, encountering a heavily armed tank army. Sir, times have changed. King Ming reading gift. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. What kind of clone technique is this? It can actually release so many clones. No, what is powerful is not the technique, but the performer himself. Uzumaki Mito looked at Senju Hashirama with a strange expression on his face, as if he had seen something incredible. The Senju clan's chakra is as strong as the Uzumaki clan's. She knew this. The reason why the two clans are distant relatives, because they all inherited the immortal physique of the Six Paths Sage. However, if an ordinary ninja without the blessing of family blood has a total chakra amount of 1, then ninjas from ordinary families can reach 2. The Uchiha clans the amount of chakra can reach 3, while the average of ordinary members of the Uzumaki clan in the Senju clan is 4 or 5. But the bug-like existence of the Senju Hashirama directly reaches an exaggerated level of 20 or even 30. Compared with the regular tale, the beast is still coming and is terrifying. Is the inheritance of the Six Paths Sage so powerful? Uzumaki Mito thought of the widely circulated rumor. If just her inheritance is enough to make a person so powerful, then how strong will the Six Paths Sage himself be? The red-haired young girl shivered and stopped imagining. Fortunately, although my strength is not as strong as Hashirama, I'm still better than him in terms of sealing techniques. Uzumaki Mito glanced at the wooden clones with different divisions of labor, and found that none of them were practicing sealing techniques. Couldn't help but breathed a sigh of relief. If Senju Hashirama was perfectly proficient in the sealing technique, then she really didn't wanted to stay here, and went back to her hometown in Uzumaki. Her eyes rolled, as if she thought of something interesting. Uzumaki Mito approached Senju Hashirama's body. Hashirama, I heard that you once encountered a strange black monster, right? Only sealing techniques can target it, and what our Uzumaki clan is best at is sealing techniques. Uzumaki Mito said this. Shulingling's big he stared at Senju Hashirama, as if waiting for the master to speak. You want to teach me the sealing technique? Senju Hashirama quit his meditation and scratched his head and asked. Although Black Zetsu has been eliminated, and he himself has learned the 5-element seal, if he can learn a few new sealing techniques from Uzumaki Mito, then of course it couldn't be better, yeah. Uzumaki Mito nodded repeatedly, coughed slightly and pretended to be serious and said, however, not everyone can learn the sealing technique. In order to test whether you have this qualification, I think it is better for me to test you myself. The girl said pretendingly, throwing out her true purpose. Yes, she just wanted to fight Hashirama to see how big the gap is between herself and this humanoid-tailed beast. TSK. Was Mito so wild when he was a child? He is exactly the same as Kushina in the future. Li Jing smacked his lips, silently sighing that the Uzumaki clan's genetics are so excellent. Just when Li Jing sighed, Daz, who also understood the meaning of Uzumaki Mito, you want to fight me? What if it hurts you? Senju Hashirama looked troubled and had no idea of taking action. Such a cute girl would definitely scream in pain if hit with a punch, right? It would be better not to hit her. It's okay, no problem. After all, I'm also a member of the Uzumaki clan, and my chakra is no worse than your Senju. Uzumaki Mito said swanly, patting his flat chest and promising. Okay, then I'll try not to hurt you. Having said that, Senju Hashirama did not refuse and directly made a punching stance on the spot. During this period, the other wooden clones were still training on their own, ignoring this side. Case, are you planning to use taijutsu instead of ninjutsu to attack? The quick thinker in Uzumaki Mito's mind half crossed his arms in front of his chest. This is a typical blocking posture, which can effectively block the physical attacks coming from the front. Both fists and feet can be used. The premise is that the strength of the two is different, not big bang. In an instant, Senju Hashirama, who was stared at by Mito Uzumaki's eyes, disappeared from the spot. The energy flow that was forcibly torn apart due to the high-speed movement made a roaring sound like an explosion too fast. It's just too fast. Before the girl's mind and body could react, an iron fist suddenly grew in size within her sight. Packed with unparalleled impact and pressure puff under the girl's subconsciously widened eyes due to fear, her fist stopped firmly on top of Bezhi's face and did not hit the body directly. But it was just the wind blowing when he punched. It made the girl feel as if she was facing the attack of a wind escape ninjutsu at close range. King Ming reading ceremony. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 5th to April 5th. Chapter 50. Tiger roars and thunder sounds. The momentum is great. Senju Hashirama slowly retracted his fist, and the boiling wood release chakra in his body gradually calmed down. Of course he knew how big the strength gap between Uzumaki Mito and himself was. If this punch is really powerful, I'm afraid that the years of friendship between the Senju and the Uzumaki clan will be broken. This should be fine, Senju Hashirama said to himself, retracting his fist and waiting for Uzumaki Mito to recover from the shock. Other than that, he made no other movements. There is no one else with such a silly character as Dazujian. Li Jing looked at this scene with a smile. To a certain extent, Senju Hashirama's stupidity is not ordinary. If it were any other person, he would probably be stupid. I don't dare to do such a thing to Uzumaki Mito. You know, Uzumaki Mito's status in the Uzumaki clan is no less than Senju Hashirama's status in the Senju clan. If something happens, the consequences will be the negative impact is too great. What a powerful physical skill. After a while, Uzumaki Mito exclaimed, as if he had just woken up from a dream. Not only was his pretty face not afraid, but he looked quite excited. Hashirama, can you teach me taijutsu? I also want to be like you. Rushing in front of people in a snap. The girl with long red hair hugged Senju Hashirama's right arm, with long eyelashes. His eyes blinked, looking at Senju Hashirama expectantly. Okay. After just hesitating for a moment, Senju Hashirama agreed. The move he just used was a combination of taijutsu and shunpo called shaving. Although it is useful, it is not what Peerless Secret cannot be taught. If it can be exchanged for sealing techniques, that would be great. In this case, without further ado, let me teach you the sealing technique first. Uzumaki Mito said happily, and quickly thought about what kind of sealing technique to teach. The Uzumaki clan's inherited secret techniques like Vajra sealing cannot be taught to foreigners, but things like 5-element seal and 4-elephant seal can't be taught to outsiders. This kind of conventional sealing technique is not so particular. Ahem. Hashirama, in return for the exchange, I will teach you the 5-element seal, the 4-symbol seal and the Bagua seal. The girl coughed lightly and said, this was her first time teaching someone, and it was a person of the opposite sex that caught her eye very much. 5-element seal. Senju Hashirama's face looked strange. What's wrong? It's okay, you can start teaching. Senju Hashirama shook his head and chuckled, indicating Uzumaki Mito to start his own teaching. Although he had already learned the sealing technique of 5-element seal through mission rewards, he has not used it in front of others so far. Yes, now that we have Uzumaki Mito's teachings as a cover, we don't have to think about how to explain the origin of the sealing technique. Well, then pay attention to my seals and chakra flow. Uzumaki Mito didn't think much, and directly started to demonstrate the 5-element seal. Senju Hashirama listened carefully, and explained what Uzumaki Mito told, comparing the things with the knowledge learned from the system in his mind. He found that the 5-element seal of the system was actually better than the sealing technique mastered by Uzumaki Mito. A bunch of complicated and useless steps were eliminated, and the optimized seals and chakra were used directly. Route to achieve the effective perfect seal system. What kind of existence are you? Senju Hashirama couldn't help but ask in the depths of his mind. He was really curious as to why there were so many messy magical techniques in the system mall, and even the Uzumaki clan and the 5-element seal has not been successfully optimized. This system is the product of the union of all heavens and worlds. It transcends the multiplicity and is born at the source of everything. It is the cause of all laws and the beginning of everything. Li Jing kept fooling around, talking eloquently. Although he himself did not know the true origin of the system, this did not stop him from bragging and deceiving the big pillar until he was lame. As expected, the naive Dazu took everything Li Jing said as the truth. Although it was difficult to understand, he knew that the system was quite awesome. I'm really lucky to be able to bind the system. The young man sighed silently in his heart and continued to pretend to listen carefully to Uzumaki Mito's explanation. For him, who had already learned the 5-element seal, such lectures seemed a bit boring. Good. In 5-element seal, it is not a particularly difficult sealing technique, so the description is not long. Hashirama, do you understand what I just said? Uzumaki Mito seemed to be very worried that Senju Hashirama could not understand the content of the sealing technique, and said very considerately, it is your first contact, so it is normal if you don't learn it. We can take our time. No need. Senju Hashirama smiled and scratched his head, showing a little bit of embarrassment in his shyness. He stretched out his right hand directly, and 5 chakra attribute changes appeared at the end of his 5 fingers at the same time. Thunder, wind, water, and fire. Soil. It is an external manifestation of the success of the 5-element seal. I think I've learned it. Mito, you can start explaining the next seal. The honest Hashirama said. Uzumaki Mito was stunned for a while, and then he got out of the state of shock. He subconsciously said in a daze, okay, what we have to learn next is the 4-image seal. An hour later, when Senju Hashirama successfully learned the remaining 2 sealing techniques, the girl's mental state had become muddled, and she began to doubt who was the real Uzumaki clan member. Between herself and Senju Hashirama. King Ming Reading Ceremony. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points for free. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 5th to April 5th. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.